you want the best. It's the life we are best. Respect God. Malifenu sita, chupa kanipele taraha. Mafizol kipare seta asa, ule kwaf kanimam seta asa. Naskan kilumbara le saba, naskan mitor bile le saba. Chupa kan kwes visa mandat, ujirmit kan ma visa mandat. Lakin asa de muskila, bilel kan jade muskila. Kalam de bi wege fite, junubi ma junubi ya bikatul madule. Oh, chupa pega karapu, ujirmin maliyan magika furabuna. Itabas magali katuluzo, itabas magali nyakamuzo. Ukasapa gali sereguzo, ayla kamasi lumo dardazo. Oh Lord. Matata tujela wesa ni cruz, matati muhaya sola sadi motar. Itamaro kalori koke, itamaro kalostar kalke. Laki mutirmin dari katulu, itema bilen ile katulu. Inside that sunu kata katulu. Oh my Lord, you're my friend to be down. Salata katulu, you're my bitch. Salata sere, you're my friend to be down. Love na dai, you're my bitch. You're bitch. Ega karapu, ujirmin maliyan magika furabuna. Itabas magali katuluzo, itabas magali nyakamuzo. Ukasapa gali sereguzo, ayla kamasi lumo dardazo. Oh Lord. Say Rabu Nafsi, look at Rabu Nafsi. Malo magin zakir tab, la Junub Sudan, domi kumbu daima. Junub Sudan, sunu bakat dina amulu. Junub Sudan, tam tanina magin karasu. Junub Sudan, ramuna sunu bakat. Junub Sudan, bolo. Anagi fikri kalam de makore, yali kani raba mikuse na sore. Faida sunu afeli susore, kani bega sede juba zilore. Chris Becker, juba bega karapu, jirmin maliyan magika furabuna. Itabas magali katuluzo, itabas magali nyakamuzo. Ukasapa gali sereguzo, ayla kamasi lumo dardazo. Juba bega karapu, jirmin maliyan magika furabuna. Itabas magali katuluzo, itabas magali nyakamuzo. Ukasapa gali sereguzo, ayla kamasi lumo dardazo. Oh Lord, you're my friend to be down. You're my bitch. You're my friend to be down. You're my bitch. Get it up na English, as you say so. You're my sila, ma mujrimin, kala water, uburush, haramale.
Hello, hi, viewers of Nile Nation TV, Nile Nation Network. Greeting to all of you. It's good to see you all again. Today, we are going to be talking about very important and sensitive talking at the same time. But normally, before we start, we'd like to give you some highlights of what happened in our beloved country, South Sudan. أهلا وسهلا لمشاهدي شبكة النيل الوطنية. مبسوطين نشوفكم الليلة. من فضلكم حاولوا شاركوا الفيديو ده، لأنه الهدف إنه عايزين نوصل للناس عشان الناس تعرف حقوقها، لأنه النظام الحاصل في جنوب السودان يعني ما مدي الناس حقوقها زي ما إحنا متوقعين. So please try to share the video as you watching us or you're gonna join us. مرحب بكم برضو، يعني ليكم برضو الفرصة انه تشاركوا بعدين لما نعمل العناوين البارزة بالاشياء اللي حصلت في جنوب السودان بلدنا الحبيب. برضو يعني تقدروا برضو تشاركوا، بننزل لكم الرابط عشان تقدروا شنو تشاركوا بآرائكم. الهدف كلها إنه عشان إحنا نقدر نعرف حقوقنا. Before we go ahead, of course, is the time now for us to do some highlights of what happened in South Sudan. And normally, I would like to, uh, uh, or maybe today, I would like to start with Greater Bahr Ghazal. And when we say Greater Bahr Ghazal, we mean all the Bahr Ghazal State, Lake State, Western Bahr Ghazal State, um, Northern Bahr Ghazal State, and Abyei. So our brother Mabur Kong will give us the highlights. العناوين البارزة عن بحر غزال الكبرى يعني هيفيدنا بالمعلومات ديل السيد مابور كونغ. طبعا لما نقول بحر غزال الكبرى قاصدين طبعا البحيرات، غرب بحر غزال، شمال بحر غزال، واراب وابيي. Okay, brother Mabur, you can go ahead and give us the highlight. Can you unmute yourself, please, and start over?
Thank you very much. I always forgot it. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So the report for today, yesterday evening in Awil, there was a little bit situation within the football or the soccer ball player or the sport player, a girls team. It happened to be the headline that happened. The minister of humanitarian wife happened to be a part of the team, and the minister flight from Juba to Awil and went and done a gunshot in Awil Freedom Square, and from there they disarmed him and they asked him to leave immediately. So that's the headline, and it's spreading everywhere. So that report comes from our source, Navigation source within Awil. Again, three they call it the criminals who are cattle raiding, who was being caught in Lake State a couple days ago, and then they tried to escape. So in the area called Aluagbak, so the members of the security recaptured them again and returned them to the jail. So this is the two things that have been seen by Nile Nation Networks and gave it as a report. And back to you, Tal.
Any more clarification why the Minister of Humanitarian like fire some gun? Is there any elaboration on that?
Yes, there is some more clarification. It is a situation between a wife and husband. They have, because his wife, she's a sport player, and her husband disagree not to be a part within the sport, and then after they disagree on the phone, and then husband flew from there from Juba to to Awil and found people already organizing the program. And then the minister went and shoot up the postal gun, disrupted the spot immediately in that day. But no casualties. He just shoot it up, fire up 7 bullets. Uh, 7 bullets. Before was 8 bullets by the reporter, but we confirmed it is 7 bullets shot up by the minister, and then they disarm him and they ask him to leave. That's his wife.
Okay. Thank you so much for telling us that. Uh, yeah. So we're gonna move to Upper Nile State. Tell us an Greater Upper Nile. We mean Greater Upper Nile, not just only the state. The Greater Upper Nile, which comprise of Jonglei, Unity State, and also Upper Nile, and also 2 administrative areas. Please, Brother William, if you can unmute yourself. طبعا هنسمع برضو عناوين بارزة عن ولاية على النيل الكبرى اللي يشمل جونغلي وولاية على النيل والوحدة، وبرضو المناطق الإداريتين. برضو أخونا ويليام حاول ادينا المعلومات ده. Brother William, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Greeting to our viewer and to the panel's members. I have 2 highlights today. So one is from Jungula here. So I think before I share this information with you, it would be to mention that we are in the peace process that costs us a lot of life, all of us over Southern Sudan. We all know that. So I think it's good that even though the peace is not going well as it's supposed, but it's good that if there is a positive sign, that is, we have to appreciate that and we have to encourage it, because settlement in other areas that are not belong to you, that does not belong to you, it is itself like you are sleeping in the room with mosquito. So the people who are owner of the land, they are in pain, and you as a person who got settled there, you are also in pain. So it's good thing that we go back to our native land. So the information I'm highlighting with you is from Radio Tamazic, and that was yesterday. So the title is Jongula Pastoralist, Alua Cattle Keeper. Pastoralists started leaving Kaiju cattle keepers from Jungule. So he start who grass their animals in Kajukeji County of Central Equatoria State have started to return home as farmers in the areas complain about cattle destroying their farms. Cattle keeper from, that was the title, cattle keeper from Jungule State who grass their animal in Kajukeji County of Central Equatoria have started returning home as farmers complain. Last week, local authority in Kajukeji County issued an order for cattle herders from Jungule State and Turkega County of Central Equatoria State to vacate the area within a period of 7 days as farmers began farming activities. Abraham Makur, Secretary General of Jungule Cattle Herders, reported on Radio Tamazic on Friday that pastoralists have started vacating Kajukeji County, saying the move is in line with the order issued by the county commissioner to promote agricultural and peaceable coexisted in the areas. There is a positive outcome on the side of the cattle herders. They are now moving out. So far, 13 cattle camps have left, and I am sure by Monday next week all cattle herders will be out of Kejikeji because all of them are going back home, he said. And he continued, Makur call on the Kajukeja farmer to resume farming activity in the area since the pastoralists are leaving the areas. Anyik Chaplin, a youth leader and a farmer in Kajukeji County, confirmed that most of the cattle herders have left several villages. That is in regard of Jungule, so I think is encouraging news that the cattle keepers can go to their native land and give opportunity for the native of that land to start their activity too. So the other highlight is from radio, no, sorry, iRadio, April 15, 2021. That is from President Salva Kiir. The title, Kiir write a letter of disappointment to governors. Information. President Salva Kiir has expressed disappointment in some governors and their deputies over the manner in which they are managing the state affairs. The president believes the top leadership at the state level are not working in a collegial manner. He cited poor cooperation and high trust deficit between the governors and their deputies and some senior official of the same government. President Salva Kiir described this as an unfortunate, unacceptable behavior and direct them to respect each other's, comply with the required protocol and uphold standards, governance procedures. He further asked them to cooperate and implement a revitalized peace deal regardless of their political or ethnic differences. All of you should aspire to return peace to our people and deliver service as a team. President Kiir stated in a letter to the governor of the 10 state issued on Monday. So that is, I think, if this one president have a good intention to give this message to his uh, people below him, I think that is a good sign that the president is for the peace, because these people, to my understanding, they are not enemies, but they are just one people, and their purpose is one only, to serve the people. So if the deputy is from IO and the governor is from government, they all speak one language. Deliberation, delivery of the service to people, and that's it. And what we mean by this one is just like water, health, food, and security and housing. So that is the one language everybody in the office speaks if they are serious for people. So there is no way, as President said, there is no way to dispute that working as a team should be encouraged. So that is what I have for the highlight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother William. And now, with no further ado, we're going to move to our sister Juju to give us highlights about Greater Equatoria. And Greater Equatoria, it's Central Equatoria, Western Equatoria, and Eastern Equatoria. I know William mentioned something about the cattle and farming season, and move some cattle from Equatoria to maybe to Greater Upper Nile, where they came from. So maybe you're going to mention that, but anyway, I will leave it up to you. هننتقل لعناوين بارزة برضو من
Oh,
والاستوائية.
well,
أيوة.
yeah, it was requested that we should mention it in Arabic also. Is it something I can say it, or is already okay?
Because I think you were reading it. If you just make a summarize of it earlier, will be okay. But they seem to be it's kind of lengthy a little bit.
Okay.
I know. لو تقدر تختصره, if you
Yeah.
can summarize it before Juju go, if you don't mind, Juju.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I will be quick.
Yeah.
العناوين البارزة أنا اللي قريته قبل شوية هو 2 من الجنقلة. عم بقول إني الناس اللي كانوا مشوا من الجنقلة للإكواتوريا منطقة اسمها كيجي مع الأبقار بتاعهم وبلشوا يرجعوا لمناطقهم الرئيسية في الجنقلة. فده خبر كتير كويس جدا إن مثلا كل أي واحد يرجع لمنطقته، لأنه القوات في مناطق غير منطقتك أنت هو بخلق القلق للشخصي المتوطن والشخصي صاحب المنطقة. فده خبر كويس بالنسبة للاتفاقية للسلام، ده كويس ونحن لازم نشجعه. والخبر الثاني هو من الرئيس الجمهورية هو سلفا كير، هو عم بقول إني غير مبسوط من الطريقة بتاع التعاون بين الحكام والنواب بتاعهم، لأنه الرئيس كير بقى ما مرتاح، لأنه ما في علاقة كويس بين النائب والرئيس والوالي والي. فلذلك هو عم بشجعه من لازم يشتغلوا كفريق أو كتيم عشان يقدر ينفذوا عملية بتاع السلام. وشكرا.
شكرا جزيلا ويليام. وننتقل طبعا إلى استوائية الكبرى وأخذ جوجو هتقرأهم لنا. Okay, Juju, go ahead.
Hi, it's Juju, making highlights from Equatorial region by Nile Nation Network.
Can you increase your
voice
volume a little bit, Juju? Increase the
Okay.
volume a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, let me put on my. This is George making region. According to our source, April 16, U.S. donates to the World Food Program to help fight hunger. Sudan. Juba, President on a 3-day visit to South Africa. The first will be acting as the president of the Republic of South Africa. Yay! Traders are to urgently open Yay Juba Road. 15th April. Road now passable. Official. The Deputy Governor of Budway State, to Edward Yambio for Torit. 14th, Governor Louis Committee Monyomiji. This is the highlights Equatorial region.
Juju, for some reason we couldn't hear, like your voice is breaking. We couldn't hear exactly what you were reading there. Is there any way to fix?
Okay. I can repeat it again.
Yeah, and try to be close. Yeah, so at least we can hear it good. Yeah.
Okay.
Try.
Okay. So this is the highlight from the source of Radio Tamazuj, Juba, April 16th. The US donates 95 million to the World Food Program to help fight hunger in South Sudan. Juba, 15th April, President Kir on a 3-day visit to Pretoria, South Africa. The first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, will be acting as the President of the Republic of South Sudan. Yay, April 15th, traders urge government to urgently open Juba Yei Road. Mundri, April 15th, Juba Mundri Road now is passable, officials say. Yambio, 14th April, the body of the former deputy governor, the late Honorable Victor Edward, arrives Yambio for burial. Torit, April 14th, Governor Louis Lobong forms a committee to probe Monyomeji grievance. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's more like the continuation was very good, but it's just the voice was very low. But anyway, you work on that because you have a lot to say today. So it's good that our viewers can hear what you are saying. Before we go to our main topic, and our main topic today, it's about corruption in South Sudan. It's a big topic. We may not be able to finish it all today, but at least we will touch some important points about that. موضوع بتاعنا الليلة طبعا هو عن الفساد في جنوب السودان. طبعا موضوع كبير، يمكن ما حنقدر نخلصه كله الليلة، لكن حنلتمس بعض النقاط، وإن شاء الله في الأسابيع الجاية نحاول نقرر تاني بصورة مستفيضة، أو بتوقف على ظروف لو إحنا قدرنا نخلصه كله. موضوع يعني هو حساس. أنا هرفع فيديو وأتمنى إنه المشاهدين برضو يشوفوه برضو بنوع من الترغب، لأنه فيه بعض الصور فيه ما حيعجب الكل، بس طبعا هنلعب الفيديو. We will play the video. I will be in some part, maybe I will be moving it forward because it's a long video, but there is some parts I will let it play. So please bear with us as we play this video. Maybe you guys watched it before, or maybe didn't watch it, but as long it's gonna touch something that we are talking about, so please just bear with us as we talk about this. Okay. So I'm going to share the video. Please bear with me.
How many patients on average do you have here coming in? The whole hospital is 514 beds. 514 Maker Isaac is the director of the main hospital for South Sudan's 12 million people. Broken bone?
Yes.
Oh, that's a bad break. He's very skinny.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
It's malnutrition. These are the relatives of the patients. Come and cook for their relatives.
So there's no food at all in the hospital?
There's no food.
That must be difficult when a lot of people are here for malnutrition reasons or for dehydration, etc.
Yes, so we hope and wish to give them food. And we are not just able because of financial problems that facing the country.
What's she in here for? It seems like getting treatment is quite difficult. Without food, medicine, or electricity, South Sudan's largest hospital is clearly failing its patients. You have enough funding here for you guys to get paid and everything?
You know how much I get a month? Less than $30.
Less than $30. And you're the director of the hospital?
Yeah. Imagine the other numbers. You get like $10, $15.
Why?
Well, there's no money. The government has no money.
While South Sudan struggles to provide the most basic services, it's sitting on some of the largest oil reserves on the continent. Lading Noor is a journalist whose family members fought and died in the war for independence.
The economy is struggling because the oil prices are declining, and South Sudan is a country that is almost entirely dependent on oil. It has tremendous effect.
In this oil-producing country, it's actually almost impossible to buy gas. There's a big fuel shortage here.
It's huge, it's immense.
I've seen all these people queuing up to try and fill up their tanks. Is that how everyone gets their fuel?
It's crazy. Let me tell you, on record, I waited for 10 hours. 10 hours and I didn't get it.
So where's everyone getting the fuel?
There is the black market.
So these guys are all selling gas?
Yeah. Welcome. 20 liters. I didn't talk to me. I could come.
A single bottle of fuel costs more than the monthly salary of most people in South Sudan. Despite at least 3.5 billion barrels in oil reserves, the economy is now completely crippled. A far cry from what was expected when the country gained its independence. Were you here on Independence Day?
Absolutely. I was here, and this place was filled up with people. This was the only time in our history where we came together despite our differences, whether they were tribal, whether they were political, whether they were economical, all kinds of people were here.
Remember, you are the South Sudanese best.
Just like a wedding night, when the honeymoon fades, the real problems, they kick in. And it was just a matter of 3 years, and the country erupted in war. December 15, 2013, there was a brewing power struggle between Salva Kiir Mayardit, the president of South Sudan, and Riek Machar, the former first vice president.
President Salva Kiir has been corrupted by power.
And of course, at the center of power is oil, it's money. It became a conflict along tribal lines. The Dinka, where the president comes from, and the Nuer, where the former first vice president comes from. And that engulfed the whole country.
With the country's two largest tribes divided by their loyalty to the president and the vice president, the world's newest country split along ethnic lines.
This is not the country we fought for. We were fighting for a future where there is peace, there is stability, there is prosperity. So indeed, people are upset about where we have found ourselves in the country.
This indestructible 125 Canadian dollar drone is now available in Canada. This is
In 2016, a team of investigators, backed by George Clooney, who's been an activist in this region for over a decade, published a 2-year-long investigation into South Sudan's leaders.
This morning, we're prepared to give evidence of massive criminal behavior by the president of South Sudan and by his opposition, the ousted vice president.
They concluded that at the root of the power struggle is a fierce battle over control of the state's assets.
They're stealing the money to fund their militias, to attack and kill one another.
South Sudan's leaders and their relatives were getting rich off lucrative deals in the oil and mining industries, while the country was driven into war and famine. 14-year-old Bull is among the nearly 2 million people who were forced from their homes and now scattered across South Sudan.
And how did you get here?
I will skip this part.
Like Isaac, who fled. So it takes 4 or 5 hours to reach the place. When there are more than 6 belongs to the small circle of presidential elite with guns. According to the UN, there are more than 17,000 child soldiers involved in the conflict, and that number is growing. With one of the world's largest peacekeeping missions protecting hundreds of thousands from their own government, we sat down with the country's Minister of Information. Michael Leweth belongs to the small circle of presidential elites. The US recently attempted to slap sanctions on him for orchestrating the slaughter of civilians. Can you explain what the current state of South Sudan is in your eyes?
Well, the current state of South Sudan in terms of human rights is okay.
You say it's okay. I mean, there's almost 3 million people displaced throughout South Sudan, and about 200,000 of those are living within IDP camps within their own country.
Were they displaced because of human rights violations?
Yes.
No.
There are widespread reports throughout the country and outside of the country of killings, of brutal mass rapes. These are reports from independent people, from individuals, from humanitarian groups, from the UN.
These are not credible reports. These are reports which are written here in the hotels.
I mean, it sounds like you're saying that the government accepts zero
when
responsibility for any of the atrocities that have happened throughout your country. And if you don't accept any of that responsibility, it's incredibly difficult to see how peace could ever be reached if there's no accountability at all.
I'm not saying that there had never been any offenses committed. Yes, there are offenses committed. People are under arrest. People are under arrest and they are under investigation. Others have already undergone trial.
Do you refute the fact that South Sudan is one of the most corrupt countries in the world?
Well, corruption is all over the world. South Sudan is part of the world, so it cannot be free of corruption.
I'm asking you on a scale whether South Sudan is up there as one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
South Sudan is one of the corrupt countries in the world, not the most.
Are you corrupt?
Me? No, I'm not corrupt.
While the government denies the allegations of corruption, the fact remains that the same men who tore this country apart remain very much in power, while civilians continue to pay the price. And it's the international community that's left with the costly task of trying to hold the world's youngest country together. We're hoping that Paul, the 14-year-old kid that we met in Juba, is on this place so that he can
I will stop it there because this is about the same boy that I skipped earlier to meet his family. So I'm going to stop here. Okay. Again, viewers, thank you so much for remaining tuned. As you see, our country has got a problem. It's not only the problem of a corruption alone, but even though when we don't say the truth, it's a big problem. احنا بلدنا بيعاني كتير وابسط اشياء يعني بيضيع بلدنا لما احنا ما نقول الحقيقة. شفنا وزير الاعلام بيقول انه البلد آمن، في وقت إنه الصحفية قال له إنه في حوالي 3 مليون جروا برا البلد، وحوالي 200,000 ولا 300,000 قاعدين في مخيمات داخل البلد. وهو نكر زي ما هو برضه بيقول إنه ده بس حاجات بيروجوهم في الهوتيلات هنا، يعني ما أخبار حقيقية. شفنا بلد يعني أرض بترول، وشفنا الصحفي الكبير مدين يعني بس قدر يخط بس في عربيته قزازة كريستال، ما في بنزين في البلد، وعندنا بترول بالهبل زي ما بيقولوا. We have a real problem when we don't really say the truth. Our country is so corrupt to the core. I can say it like that. The government is saying that there is no money, while all of us, we know there is a lot of money was embezzled and put into their pockets. كما بقول ما عنده قروش، لكن الأموال كله بتاع البلد سرقوها، خدوه في جيوبهم وحربوها برا البلد. يعني I think we heard few years back when a certain family will be carrying a coffin or across the border filled up with money. How many of them was caught? They say that they're going to bury their loved one, but in fact it was money inside those. يعني كم من الناس مسكوهم بملايين الدولارات انه شايلينهم في صناديق بتاع جثث، وعايزين يحربوهم برا البلد، انه قالوا ماشيين يدفنوا اهلهم، لكن الصناديق مليانه بقروش، ملايين من الدولارات. شفنا المستشفى في الفيديو، مستشفى ما فيه اكل، يعني اهل المريض يهو بيجوا وقاعدين برا ويقعدوا يطبخوا لاهلهم. شفنا سيارات مكسره، سياره اسعاف ويمكن باص لموظفين مكسور ما قادرين يصلحوا. This one remind me of the 1,000 tractors that was brought to the country for cultivation, and they got distributed, and today we never heard of them. We do things and we fail to do the least. Like if you bring 1,000 tractors like that, you're supposed to bring with them also a catering service that can fix these tractors. Otherwise, why don't you just bring half of them, and the other half of the money, bring it with parts so the things can be fixed. We see our country bringing airplanes that keep crashing here and there because they were bought from junkyard by the multimillionaires that we never heard of them before when we were in Sudan. Corruption, it's a danger thing in South Sudan. And South Sudan is corrupt to the core. And I think it will take generation to fix that problem, because the current government, I don't think that they will fix it. الفساد بقى مشكلة في بلدنا. يعني كيف يتحل؟ هياخد أجيال عشان نقدر شنو الموضوع ده يتحل. قبل ما أمشي كتير اخونا جوجو هتدينا تعريف بسيط عن الفساد. Before I go too much, my sister Ms. Juju will at least theoretically will tell us what is corruption before we go ahead. Sister Juju, if you can unmute yourself and just in theory tell us what is corruption.
I hope you guys can hear me well now. It's better, yeah? Okay, corruption. It's an important topic today that we're talking about corruption. To me, corruption is stealing money in simple English, using of misusing of funds, embezzlement of government funds. This is what corruption is. The question to me is, like we watched the video that the Minister of Information has been interviewed by Isabel Young, that is South Sudan corrupted? This is the question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we as South Sudan corrupted? Is the government in South Sudan using government resources or public funds to build themselves, to get rich? The government funds used for basic needs to provide to the citizens, or is it being misused? I'm gonna yell back to Pell. This is just a simple definition of what a corruption is. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Juju. Again, I want to agree with you also on the same definition of the corruption, even though other people can say it differently, whereby we can see the corruption as the abuse of entrusted power for a private gain. Like people, they have given power, but they have to abuse it just for their own benefit. يعني الفساد يعني هي فقدان المصداقية للناس اللي أعطوهم مثلا سلطة. اوكي و يعني ما يتعامل بالصدق ويحول كل المنافع بتاع القوة اللي عنده لمصلحته الخاص. ده فساد. فساد ممكن يوصل للدرجة بسيط جدا جدا انه العامل ما دار يقوم بواجبه. مش انت قالوا لك احرس خشم الباب ده، لكن لو بيدفع لك قروش كل شهر عشان انت تحرس الباب ده، لكن تبقى تطلع وتمشي تلف براحتك والخشم الباب هنا انت ما مسؤول منه، الحرامي يخش زي ما هو داير، برضه ما ده خراب، ده فساد. You don't do your due diligence. You are asked to do a very simple thing, but when you fail to do it, that is corruption. And it can go as far as stealing money, leave alone taking bribe. These are corruption. It's a wide area. أنا عايز أقول لأخوي جرمايا, welcome, good to see you again, and please hang on there, and then of course you're going to help us today also with the title that we have, corruption in South Sudan. Before I go that far, if my brother Uto can also unmute himself and please tell us about the corruption.
Thank you, viewer, panel, those who watching us different country in this world. I think the topic is clear, and that's why we supported with the video, so that you can help yourself to define what the corruption mean. طبعا زي ما سمعتم من اخواننا اللي كان كلموا قبلي، الفساد معناه شنو؟ او يعني شنو يعني؟ الناس كتار كل واحد عنده تعريف بتاعه. في فساد اداري، وفي فساد المالي، وفي فساد السياسي، وانت ماشي. طبعا هو انواع بتاعهم كتير، لكن لما يجي تطبيق هو بيختلف من الدوله للدوله. نحن عارفين طبعا في جنوب السودان كل الانواع دي المطبق. في فساد السياسي وانت شفتوا في اتفاق السلام. جنوب اساسا ما راح يكون مستقر اذا كان اتفاق السلام بيحترف ان نائب الرئيس ما ممكن يكون رئيس في دوله بتاعه هو مواطن جنوبي. ده في حد ذاته فساد. فساد الاداري نحن طبعا عارفينه ان ده بيجيب ودعمه وده له وظيفه كويس في محلات الكويسه وفيها رشاوى، زي حسب مثلا في جنوب السودان محل بتاع الجمارك ومحلات اللي فيها الدخل اليومي هو بيدخلوا فيه ابناء اولاد الوزراء اللي بيقولوا ده لازم يكون عندهم شنو حاجه دخل يومي. طبعا ده اشياء نحن عايشين في جنوب السودان. واكثر من كده ذاته هم بدأوا يعني يجيبوا اجانب يكونوا فوق المواطن الجنوبي. سمينا في المكتب بتاع الرئيس قبل كده في اجانب شغالين. حتى الان في اجانب عندهم وظائف في جنوب السودان، في حين اننا خريجين بقدرات علميه ادبيه فايق، لكن هم ما لاقين شغل. يعني هم عندهم حق في جنوب السودان عشان يشتغل في وظيفه كويس، لكن ما بدو وظيفه ده عشان شنو؟ هو ما معروف او بقولوا ما ناضل قبل كده. شباب يوم الناس كان قاعدين ناضل في جنوب السودان ده ما كان ناضل، كلنا ناضلنا. لكن لما تيجي تشوف الوضع الموجود حاليا اللي فيها عنصريه قبليه ده خلانا نرجع ورا اكثر من كده. المهم انواع بتاع الفساد طبعا زي ما ناس كتار بدا يتكلموا فيه. انا شخصيا بشوف الحاصل في السودان او في جنوب السودان ده حاجات اكتسبناه من شمال السودان. نحن ناس بتاع عادات وتقاليد، يعني زي سرقه بتاع القروش حرام عندنا ومكتوب في الكتاب المقدس. عادات وتقاليد بتاعنا ذات بحرم حاجه زي ده، لكن جماعه بتاعنا ما عارفين كانوا هم يضربوا وين بيشوفوا حاجه سهل. يعني واحد يطلق قروش ويمشي يعمل به حاجات بتاعه. وانتوا شايفين ناس في امارات قايم في يوغندا في كينيا وما كده بس، لكن في حسابات ذاته في الخارج. المنظمه بيقولوا هنا البروجكت ده هو هيفيدنا اكثر بعدين لما نفتح محكمه عشان نحكم على الناس اللي عملوا الفساد. في فساد كثير. والمهم حاجه داير نقول لشعب جنوب السودان شنو؟ فعلا صبرتوا كثير. بلد ده بلد غنيه بموارد طبيعيه ربنا ادونا له. المفروض تاكل زيك زي اي سعودي، زيك زي اي كويتي. البلقى الدخل بتاعه يومي بدون ما يمشي يتعب، لكن بالعكس انتوا هسه تعبانين. واخواننا عدد قليل جدا مننا هم مستفيدين من القروش بتاع البترول. فعشان كده الفساد الموجود ابن وصل لدرجه عسكريه في جنوب السودان. في الوقت الحالي لو انت مشيت جنوب لو ما ملوك جنرال وهدوك دبابير كتار في في الكتف بتاعك، انت بحس بنفسك كده كأنه شنو؟ انت زاد ما جنوبي يعني حاجات وصل لدرجه ان زاد حتى لترقيات في الجيش فيها فساد، وده اداره المفروض يكون خالي من حاجات زي ده. وفعلا المشكله بتاعنا كبير، والفساد الموجود في جنوب السودان اكبر من اي فساد موجود في المحلات الثانيه، لانه بتطبق فيه قبليه وبتطبق فيه يعني عناصر عدد قليل جدا مننا يا بقدر شنو مستفيدين من الدخل او الدخل القومي بتاع جنوب السودان. طبعا عندنا معادله القوميه بتاع شنو الاقتصاد. لو انت جيت شفت حاجه في معادله القوميه معاملات بتاعه بيستخدموا، يعني انت تلقى موظف في جنوب السودان يمكن لما ندخل في المعادله القوميه المفروض يلقى زي حاجه زي $2000، لكن حاسه هم بلقى شنو يمكن اقل من 30 ولا $20. انا ما اعرف كان مرتب بتاعهم دقيقه كم هناك، وده كمان ما بلقاه بيجي بعد فتره. والمهم انا ما راح نمشي كثير لانه في حاجات المفروض نتكلم فيه. الحاجه اللي انا دايرين شنو الوعي هنا على اساس كيف نقدر نخلص من الحاجات اللي قاعد يحصل له بحر، يعني مثلا قاعد يضر المواطن البسيط. ده الهدف بتاعنا الاول والاخير. فعشان كده نجي ونتكلم، وبعد ما نتكلم نخط الحلول على اساس نقدر شنو نجيب الحل للقضيه الموجود. فالمهم انا برجع للاخوي الماسك البرنامج على اساس يدي فرصه للناس تانيين. شكرا على الاستماع.
Thank you so much. شكرا جزيلا الأخ أطو. زي ما سمعنا في فساد إداري، فساد مالي، فساد اجتماعي، يعني الفساد بأشكال وأنواع، وده كله موجود في بلدنا في جنوب السودان. Okay, so the corruption, it's so much in our country, administratively, financially, and even the culturally. We become so corrupt, even we don't know how to get out of it. As we are talking about corrupt, the second round later on, I think I want you, the panels, to give us a live example about those corruptions. But as we're going to continue with the corruption in South Sudan, what is corruption? I will give the mic to my brother Mabor to tell us what is corruption. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, well, like you said it, I greet all those who are on the podium, and also to the viewers. Exactly, the corruption is overwhelming in South Sudan, and if you could see the corruption, what introduced the corruption, I always so keen outside South Sudan because I believe those who brought corruption to South Sudan, they are those who are in East Africa, to my own analysis that I know very well, because they never take their hand off from South Sudan government. They're like a new colonial to me, the way I seen it. So that's why I could mention some country. I could say Sudan, I could say Uganda and Kenya. Those, they never take their hand off from South Sudan issue. And if they never take their hand off from South Sudan issue, so what does that mean? It means corruption itself, because they boost up the power of the people who are corrupting the country. And that's what corruption title means. Because if I could see I have someone backing me up for any issue that I want to do, and I have a power behind me, so I can do anything because I know that nobody will remove me. So the corruption itself, it becomes different within South Sudan because it's been surrounded by the people who are already corrupted, which are East Africa. I give it back to you.
Okay, that is your view right there. Even though I know maybe sometimes East Africa could has nothing to do with us. They have their own corruption in their own way, but I think South Sudan is corrupt. Even leave alone that. It get influenced by the neighboring countries. But anyway, let me leave it there, and I will come back to you later on. Just dear viewers, before William come and tell us about the corruption, I'm going to play this video very quick, so at least William also can tell us the inside of what's going on with this video. مشاهدين بس خليكم بس اصبروا معنا شويه، خليني ارفع الفيديو ده قبل ما الاخ ويليام يجي يدي تعليقه عن موضوع الفساد في جنوب السودان. خليكم معي. معلش قاعدين يتكلموا لغة مورلي لكن ركز مع الترجمة.
Have you ever abducted a child? Close to 20,000 kids were forced to fight in South Sudan's 6-year civil war. Now that it's over, many of those kids have gone home, but thousands more children are still missing. And a centuries-old practice of selling them as brides or laborers continues to this day.
Well, it is, of course, become a business. If someone managed to get child from the neighboring community, he is going to take the child to the market. It will become part of livelihoods.
David Yao Yao is a former warlord who's responsible for rounding up close to 2,000 kids, some as young as 10, to fight.
We cannot talk of that kind of inhuman act.
5 years ago, he disbanded his rebel group. In the past, you've also taken child soldiers, to fight on your behalf. Now you've taken the position that you want to stop these child abductions. How do you reckon with that in your mind?
We surrounded everything. The children that were demobilized.
He used that one act, demobilizing his army of child soldiers, to burnish his reputation and get himself appointed governor. He's now working in and around the capital of Pibor, a town infamous for child abduction.
People like Paul, who was in the Bible, so he used to be a bad man originally, but eventually when he was called by God, he became a strong preacher that changed a lot of lives, and he did a lot of destruction before. We realized that it was totally wrong. So we need to apply all the efforts to be able to bring back children and return to their owners.
Have you been successful in returning any of these kids back to their parents?
Since 2018, we managed to recover about 54 children across the neighboring community.
I'm Nick Nimitz,
sorry
and I'm
guys, these StreamYard keep doing their ads, so sorry about that.
No one knows how many kids have been abducted and sold as laborers. There's no reliable data on how many were able to get home to their families or how many are still missing. Patrick Jatatongun and Patrick Omian were taken from their families in 2008 when they were just 8 years old.
They take us to be as their children.
Omian managed to escape soon after he was kidnapped. But Tongun wasn't so lucky. He was sold by his captors for 50 cows and taken to Pibor. Tongun spent the next decade tending cattle for the family who bought him. It took him 10 years to convince them to let him go to the cattle market, 150 miles closer to his parents' home. That's how he was able to get away. What was the hardest part about being back at home? Alan Jager and the rest of the group use AK-47s to hunt, even though automatic weapons aren't normally used to take down antelope. But these weapons flooded South Sudan during the country's multiple conflicts. Now they're being used to steal kids as well. Child abduction is a reliable way to make money in a country where 80% of its people live on less than $1 a day. Why do the Murle abduct children? Someone takes your kids, and then you're taking their kids as retaliation. That's how this works? You don't sell them to families for cattle? Do you know anybody that has sold children for cattle? Oh no, tax season is right around the corner. But hey,
Sorry,
my name's
guys,
Griffin Jones, and I'm here to tell you
still
about a well-simple
StreamYard is
tax.
doing this. Almost done.
Maybe we can end it here because of the time, guys.
Okay. Thank you, William, for asking me to do that. Yeah, because the rest will be just in the church and things like that. You guys, you can see the corruption in a different scale now. I think it was been there. My understanding when I heard Murle abducted children and things like that, I thought that they go and raise them to be their own children, which is in most of the cases also is true. But also there is selling and buying get involved. I will leave that to you, Brother William. Please tell us the corruption.
Well, I wanted to relate this video to another one. If you can just play it shortly. We don't need to finish it. If you play it maybe 3 minutes only, that would be great. The second video.
Okay.
Christian villages in this area has been looted by Sudanese Arab militias from the Muslim north. They carry out regular raids on the Dinka tribespeople. They're supposedly freelance robbers. The village is on the front line of the war between north and south.
The volume is very low, but I hope viewer can hear that.
Says they've been left with nothing after the Arabs carried off goats and cattle, then burned the village. Up to 300 villagers were killed, mostly men, then the women and children were rounded up. The Arabs captured Abu Maru along with dozens of others. She believes they intended to sell her in the north as a slave, but let her go when they discovered she was blind. They still have her 2 children. Akai Roger was captured in the same raid along with her 3 children. She was rescued by her husband, who undertook the dangerous journey to the north, where he found his whole family had been sold into slavery. Abin Akot paid around £100 a head for his family's freedom. It took him months to earn the money. But few people managed to make the journey north. So 4 hours walk away from the village, a new market has sprung up. Arab traders have realised they can sell escaped slaves back to their families 5 times the price in the north. At this market, former slaves change hands for £500, few Kalashnikovs, 5 cows a head. 22 people wait to be sold. To get here, they've escaped from their owners, being rounded up by the Arab traders who bring them back to the south. Until money changes hands, they won't be free.
600,000 was trapped.
Practice has disturbed some Arab merchants. But controversially, the Western Aid Agency has got involved. These children were being brought back with money supplied by Christian Solidarity International. Here is handing over £10,000 to a slave trader. The charity made a clandestine visit to the area, which is closed to aid workers. Baroness Cox, the
Maybe we can hand it here, pal. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but I know, like, the corruption has become really very bad. We will talk about it. Maybe later on we will have good ideas. Really, how can this thing end? Brother William, يعني بدون تعليق منك كتير، يعني حاول فهمنا الاثنين فيديو ديل، شاركنا فيهم نوعية الفساد اللي حصل هناك. احنا شفنا كلنا ان الناس بتتباع. ويليام.
Thank you, Pal, and thank you all the viewer. أنا بسلم عليكم كلكم. في إيكو شوي right? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. أنا ما داير نمشي to describe what the corruption is, because الناس اتكلموا قبل هم عملوا تعريف للفساد. فساد السياسية موجود زي ما ذكروه، هو استخدام السلطة بال بالسبب غير سبب، لأنه كل أي واحد اللي هو بيكون شغال في الحكومة public service هو حده مسؤولية ده عشان يخدم، هو خادم servant. but إذا هو استخدم سلطة بتاعهم للفايدة للنفس، فايدة اللي لهم، هذا فساد سياسية. بعدين أنا دين نقول إني يمكن أوتو ذكر وجوج ذكر في أسباب كثيرة. مثلا bribery هو رشوة بنقولوها في جنوب السودان، يمكن موجود في جنوب السودان. يعني معناته إني مثلا إذا أنا ويليام جيت في المكتب أنا داير نخدم، أو إني أنا داير نحمل تجار أي شيء، أنا لازم ندفع الرشوة عشان يمشي لي القضية بتاعي. ده موجود، ده رشوة bribery. والفساد الثاني يمكن إني محسوبيات، إني واحد مثل أوتو ذكر إني نيبوتيزم، إني واحد أنا مثلا أولاد أمي أو أخواني ولا نسيبي وما بعرف، أنا لازم أنا أعطيهم فرصة قبل التانيين. فإني إذا شغل مثلا تطلب qualification أو merits وبيل عنده qualification عشان يشيل الشغل ده، يمكن كهرباء في الكهرباء، ولكن أنا بقول لا، في وتهمي حتى لو هم جاي من القرية أنا لازم نعطيهم مسؤولية ده. ده المحسوبيات موجودة في جنوب السودان. طيب الشخص ده هيخدم البلد؟ ما هيخدم البلد لأنه ما عنده qualification. ده موجود في جنوب السودان. والشيء الثاني، فالسد الثاني يمكن lobbying أو persuasion، يمكن سمينا كثير، يمكن في council بيقولوها Jiang Council of Elders. What they are doing there، هما يعني لوبي اللي هو تضغط على الحكومة أو لسلبا كير، تضغط عليهم، تدق له تلفون في البيت أو تمشي له زيارة في البيت وتشيل الورقة بتاعك، بدل إن أنت تمشي المكتب بالورقة ده أنت تديه للبيت، تضغط عليهم من يمضي الورقة ده عشان أنت تحصل للشيء أنت حازه من الحكومة. اللوبي الكلام ده خطر جدا، لأنه عندنا مؤسسات بتاع حكومة موجودة، مثل parliament أو executive body اللي هو فيه سلبكير، أو judicials اللي هو القضاء. كل الموظفين الموجودين هناك طبعا عندهم الكواليفيكيشن عشان يقدر إنه مثلا يخدموا. أو إنسان الموجود في مجلس لو تم انتخابه في منطقة بتاعهم معناه يمشي يمثل المواطنين اللي هو انتخبوه. لكن إذا شخص هيدا في مجموعة بيعمل لوبي والمجموعة ده ما عندهم أي علاقة، ما انتخبوا الشخص ده انتخبوه بانتخابات بالأساس يمشي يمثل دار بتاعهم، شو احتياجات بتاع المنطقة ده يمشي يناقشه في بارلمان. بس إذا شعب اللي انتخب الشخص هذا ما عندهم أي دور، والدور هلا صار في لوبي ناس بيعمل لوبي to persuade، هذا فساد خطر جدا. لأنه شخصي منتخب وقدامه هو حد القسم بالحساد يخدم. ففي الظروف بتاع فساد أيضا إنسان ده لا يقدر إنه يخدم. إذا قاضي يقول له في شخص قبضوه أنت لازم تحكم عليه كده. This is very dangerous. الفساد أنا داير نتمسك فوقه كثير اليوم هو فساد أخلاقي اللي هو moral corruptions. And that's why I played this video. ليه؟ لأنه لو أنينا بنحمل الفساد عشان نحصل على المال للقروش، القروش نبقى بنتهي يا جماعة. ما كان في Ottoman Empire حكم السودان وشال الذهب وشال كل شيء، ويجي بريتش موجودة كله. الدول اللي كان كبيرة هيدا imperials countries هما they fell down، صار ما موجودين. بريطانيا كان يعني بلد هزيم كبير في العالم وشال كله اي شيء موجود في الارض كان في تهديدات بتاع بريطانيا. ولكن اراضي ديل ما شعب ديل لسه بعضهم موجودين لغايه السنه. هم شالوا مال، شالوا ذهب، شالوا كل شيء، وناس بعده قاعدين. لكن الفساد اننا نكون خايفين ولينا كجنوبيين هو moral corruption، هو فساد اخلاقيه. عشان كده انا لعبت الفيديو ده. يعني وصلنا بالدرجه ان مثلا نبيع اولاد بتاعنا عشان القروش. طيب الله اللي هو الخلق البشر، كان نقول نمشي شويه لورا للجينيسيس. كان في قانون، يمكن الله قال يا آدم يا حواء الأرض كله لإلك أنت، الأرض ده كله لإلك أنت، بس أنت لا تحاكله في الشجرة هذا فقط، كله لإلك أنت. العايزه عاملها بس الشجر هذا ما تاخد يدك فوق. هذا قانون، لأنه ما فيش أي دولة بدون قانون. إذا نينا من شخصية بدا رب، هو رب بلش القانون. كان يجي في وسائلها العشرة: لا تقتل، لا تكذب، لا تسرق، لا تزني، وكذا وكذا. ده القوانين كمان. انت تجي للأمم المتحدة في حاجة بيقولوها the Universal Declaration of Ethics Principles. What is this؟ يعني ده القوانين الدول كله في العالم كله الأمم المتحدة اتفق عليهم. ده المبادئ كل دول اتفق عليهم كله. لأنه المبادئ هذا ما تشيل حق إنسان، حتفز بالحق بتاع إنسان، بحرية بتاع إنسان، بأمن بتاع إنسان، بحقوق الإنسان. وبناء على المبادئ هذا الإنسان بيكون عايش في السلام in security in peace. ولكننا شفنا هلا كسرنا قانون بتاع رب إذا نينا المسيحيين، كسرنا قوانين بتاع أمم متحدة، كسرنا قوانين بتاع جنوب السودان ذاته. لأنه كان عندنا قوانين موجودة نفس الشيء: لا تسرق، لا تقتل. أرامي ما بسرق قدام الناس، أرام بسرق بالليل، لأنه أعرفون ده غلط. إذا هو ماشى الجامع والما ماشى الجامع وبيعرف من قلبه، لأنه الله الخلق خد القانون ده بقلبه: لا تسرق. فعشان هو بيعرف إن السرقة ده شيء غلط ولازم يسرق الناس يكونوا نايمين. ففي جنوب السودان يا حنينا بتاعت حكوم بتاعنا ده وجدنا انفسنا زي ما ذكر المدين صحفي اللي هو ماشي السر الجالون بتاع البنزين. شوف الشغل ثقافه، شوف الثقافه. اذا ده اسم، ده اسم بتاع جنوب السودان. البنزين يبيعوها في الشوارع. البدل كان مع المدين مستغرب جدا، ما مصدق، ما مصدق. هذا شخصيه بدل انسان جنوبي، وننا نكون فخورين ان مثلا ننا عندنا بلد اذا بترول بتباع في الشوارع. السيارة يجي يوقف داير البنزين كله يجي جارين زي كلاب بتاع الموجود الوايلد دوغز. شفت كيف؟ فالفيديو اثنين نينا لعبنا which we displayed, one from Murle and one مع العرب. انا داير نقارن الكلام ده لانه الثقافة هيدا غير ثقافة جنوبي. إذا كان من الدانكا، إذا كان من الشلوك، إذا كان من نوير، إذا كان أي بيقولوا 64 قبيلة ما فيش ثقافة أيضا. أنينا بنزوج بالشرف، بنعمل ضيافة للبشر الضيف. زي ما مدين ذكر إن في احتفال بتاع الاستقلال بتاع جنوب السودان كانوا الجنوب كلهم مع بعض. طبعا نظر ان العراق بتاعهم والقبيله كده وقبيله كده، يس ده كان جنوب قبل سلفا كير. لكن الثقافه ده جاي من وين؟ ده يوصف انا لايفت الفيديو ده. الثقافه ده زي ما اوتو ذكر جاء من الشمالين. هم ضربوا ناس، هم شيلنا الاستقلال بتاعنا سنه 2011 يعني ما عملنا اي شيء كثير عشان نغير الاخلاقيات بتاعنا. فنفس الثقافه اذا اني مثلا انسان بس سرقوها بقوه بدا السلاح ويشيلوه يتباع وتاني يبيعوه تاني في انترناشونال شيرتي، هو بيجيب القروش كتر خيرهم، لكن هم بيشجعوا فساد. يعني صرت تجاره. الزول كان بيتكلم قبل من الاخوه من الشمالين اللي هو من تجار الحبيب، بقول قروش ده موج بتاعه براهم بقسموا قروش. اذا انيا لحالنا وكتنينا اخذنا الاستقلال بتاعنا والروس بتاعنا لسه مخلوصه بالافكار الشيطانيه، مشينا وهنيك وطبقنا كلام ده في انفسنا. اللي كان بيتكلم في مورلاك قبل شويه وبقول انه مثلا اننا بنعامل الكلام ده رد الفعل، ريتاليشن، رد الفعل. لانه انت لما نجيب الجنب بتاع الزول تاعنا وشال الجنب بتاعك يمكن انه مثلا في نقطه بتاع تفاوض او ذكر تاني انه سبب بتاع الجوع. فالثقافه ما ثقافه جنوبي يا جماعه. عشان كده هنا مثلا نايل نيشن هنا بنجيب الكلام ده هنا نحمل تو دينونس الثقافه الجاي من برا الما كويسه، بالذات فساد اللي هو moral corruption. ده خطر جدا لانه اولادنا الصغار بعد فتره يمكن اننا نموت، لكن اولاد دي لا ولا يكونوا عارفين ثقافه الدانكا شنو ولا ثقافه النوير شنو وثقافه الباريا شنو بتاع الشلوك شنو، ما بيكونوا عارفينه. هم الثقافه بتاعه هنا مثلا انت كيف تشيل السلاح وتمشي تجيب اولاد زول تاني وتمشي تزوج او تمشي تسرق البقر وتمشي تجيب مره وتجيب اولاد في الدنيا بالقروش بتاع حرام. ده ثقافه هم بيعرفوا لانه هم ده شيء هم بيشوفوه كل يوم. وعشان كده نحن كلنا لازم نقول الكلام ده اننا ثقافه ده غير جنوبي. فشكرا فعلا. I will yield back to you here.
Thank you so much, Brother William, kind of explaining to us the moral corruption, which is al-fasad al-ijtima'i. Thank you so much for telling us that. Still, we are looking about like talking about the corruption itself. And we have our brother Jeremiah here. Also, you can tell us, brother Jeremiah. Thank you so much. I know I don't know what time now in Australia, but thank you for being with us. If you can unmute yourself, tell us the corruption in theory. What is your take on that in South Sudan? For some reason, I can't unmute you. Can you do it yourself there? Can you? Not yet. Can you do it again? Can you do it again, please, Jeremiah? Yeah, good now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Brother Paul and William Goldie, Otto, you, and Mobok Wall, and those who are watching us. Thank you very much. Today's topic really, it is a shameful topic, very shameful, not for us here, but for all the people of South Sudan. Because South Sudan could have been a Christian country, because majority of the population in South Sudan are Christian. And it is a shame again, because South Sudan was the last country which gained independence. We could have learned from the countries which got their own independence before South Sudan. طبعا أنا بنشوف لما تيجي ورا تبي يعلم من الناس اللي كان قدام بتاعك. وجنوب السودان ما يتعلموا من دولات اللي كان لقوه. وجامع من النظام بتاعه ما معروف كله. يعني we disappointed دولات اللي كان صارنا بدري في زمن تحرير بتاعنا. خاصة لما نكونوا بنشيلوا very high number of corruption the index for East Africa. And again, our number in the entire world, we are among the top corrupted countries in the world. And that's why I'm saying it is very shameful for all of us. Corruption in South Sudan, it's very hard, or it cannot be defined the way it is. But we just we can talk about it, because it is taking place in many forms, different forms completely. In terms of abuse of office, bribing foreign countries, many kickback, or all this. So let me try to say something here. When we talk about corruption in South Sudan, we're supposed to ask ourselves, who are really doing this corruption? Who are really doing this corruption? Who are they? We have to know them. So, to me, corruption in South Sudan is spearheaded by the government official. That the one really is spoiling the name of the country under the watch of the President Kir and the ruling party SPLM. This corruption had went to organized forces. South Sudan organized forces are very much involved in corruption because they saw it from the ministers. How can we fight? How can we fight really corruption if the top government officials they are very soft on corruption? Let me tell you something here. With Alibenu Sita, our Vice President James Waniga came to Australia. With Alibenu Sita, and I couldn't people Australia. Amaritima Majinubin. For Kanum Talata, Gala izo the sigil swal bitao, Kanum Mijobo. Let me forget about the rest. Swalita corruption, the James Wan your job, Lano Okan Gal, Asile Bitakumda, I zol Pina and Betar, no swallow Bajobo. So swallowed and Nibrais James Wani, Taro, than corruption. A Jabato Yanda. Gal, very hard to fight corruption in South Sudan. But we will keep it minimum. A statement that is not simple to me. Is a gather and a shackle Arab Bisila few more warau. Le why fighting corruption? The Haja not people fear it. Why? Why is it defeating people? Maga to nas. Mashinu Mana Mugsulin Yaum Nas El Mushaja corruption. The Haja the Legida to James Wani, Pialiben Usita. We have to tell the truth. As we said here, if we don't tell the truth, our country will never reform itself. We have to tell the truth. Now we have identified those who are making corruption in the country, and the same leaders that are making very soft statements in the public about corruption. They don't want to fight it. And why people don't want to fight corruption? We mean they're benefiting from it. Now, another example again, like Honorable Minister of Information, I already said here, we heard it. You were talking about corruption like many countries are corrupt, and South Sudan is one of the countries in the world who are corrupt. Now, which means to him, corruption is something normal. Now, his view with the honorable, with Vice President, it seems like the same. They take it like if it is done anywhere else, why it is not done here in South Sudan? So, this is another issue. Corruption will not finish in our country. And again, corruption in South Sudan, it involves a lot, as I said. It involves land grabbing. It is a corruption because you take land and you can be sold out at any time. Land is not used for just building, but for business purpose. So it is part of corruption. Land issue in South Sudan, it is part of corruption. And whenever you try to bribe, like let me mention again, bribery. The way it is done on border, I went to on the border of Numli and South Sudan. A lot of trucks getting inside South Sudan. You see what happened there? Trucks will take days on the border in Numli. The drivers, they're paying a lot of money, bribing the official. And when the goods reach to Juba, they are very expensive because of what happened on the way. There are so many, what do you call it, terabed. في terabed هناك في نملي. تيجي ترفع في terabed ده، ترفع في terabed ده، ترفع في terabed ده، لما وصل أي زي 100 وشوية tables. الماء معروف ده بتاع Central Equatorial Government وينه وبتاع Central Government وينه. He better wear table. But current governor بتاع Warabi State, Honorable Aleu, by then he was a minister of Interior. Much enough for Numli, together to eliminate 40 terbeda. 40 terbeda او eliminate. لانه ماشي بلغوا بيني رول بناكر هناك في تربية كتير تم تدفع هنا يوم ماشي هناك بنفسه تربية أسبوع وقدر to eliminate about 40 of them وباقي ده فضل. So this is how the corruption is in South Sudan, the way it is practiced on the border. And again, there was a cool ghost name that shall go to organized forces. This ghost name, Zul Muksul, Zul al-Muksul, ممكن يكتب أسامي زي 10 100 اسم والكم اسم. أو بشير جروج ده, that's a more ghost name. I was aware نفسه Aleu, Governor Aleu also, by then he was a Minister of Interior, who gathered to get like 100 and something thousand ghost name out from police list. So really, corruption in South Sudan, it is at high level. Our people from the grassroots, they are suffering. And the top government official, they did not realize. And I would like to stop here, and I will still contribute on the same issue. Thank you very much. Back to you, Pan.
Thank you so much, Brother Jeremiah. Yes, the question is, who is doing the corruption? Brother Jeremiah, you went to that question, which I was about to ask as a second question. Who is doing the corruption? Government officials and also civil servants والمواطنين العاديين. Everybody is doing corruption. It's corrupt. الناس كلها فاسدة. All of us, we heard about corruption بتاع زورا saga. How did it happen? قروش وزعوهم على الفاضي. It has happened just somebody will make a project and he will go and presented it, I think, to the Minister of Finance that he's going to bring these goods in and things and so forth, including Yahoo Zurada. But في بعض الناس صرفوا شيكات بملايين من غير ما يجيبوا ولا حبة ذرة في جنوب السودان. تلاعب لدرجة بعيد انه يعني بالهدود في ناس يوقع وقال البضاعة ده جابوه. في الأغاليم في ناس بوقع وقال استلمنا البضاعة ده. ووزارة المالية بيجي يديك القروش. وما في اي برنامج انه القروش ده هترجع كيف لخزينه بتاع الدوله. وناس مشت عاشبوه في فنادق والقروش ده انتهى وما في اي فايده رجع لجنوب السودان. الفساد هل وقف هناك؟ برضو جابوا 60 عربيه لان كروزر للعلوي وناس اختلصوا اموال ما يقارب ال 400 مليار 400 مليون سوري 400 مليون دولار امريكي. ده شنو ده؟ يعني سعر العربيه بكم؟ يعني حتى لو جبتوا عربيه مصفح كويس في حدود يمكن 60,000 دولار. جابوا العربات ديل والقروش اختلصوها اسعار مبالغ في الاسعار بتاع العربات. والعربات دي ان شاء الله برضو وقعوا في يدين سواقين ما في تدريب كويس، كلهم اتدشدشوا. في الاخر منو الخسران؟ جنوب السودان هي الخسران. المواطن البسيط اللي ما قادر يلقى علاج، ما لاقي شارع كويس، وما لاقي اكل ياكل، هو الخسران بسبب الفساد اللي احنا فيه. جابوا تراكترات يمكن مرتين، لكن اخر مره 1000 تراكتر مشوا وين؟ ياهو سمعنا انه التراكترات ديل ياهو قاعدين خلاص بقوا خسرانين ما شغالين. فساد. جوز نيمز، يعني في جوز نيمز اسماء وهميه يدخلون في البي شيت. الاسماء الوهميه ديل يصرفوا، لكن في شخص عامل حقيقي يجي يفاجئوه يقولوا له اسمك وقع في بي شيت. ليه اسمه وقع؟ ليه اسمه وقع؟ وين؟ وليه اسمه الموظف ليه هو يقع؟ صرافين ده ليه قروشهم اسمهم ما وقع ما سقط يوم؟ ليه اسمائهم ما بيسقط؟ ليه؟ والاسماء الوهميه بتاعهم ليه اسمائهم ما بيسقط؟ فساد وصل للدرجه انه زي ما اخونا ذكر قلع بتاع اراضي بتاع الناس. على عينك يا تاجر، ارضيتك ياخدها لكن ما حنديك له والا يقتلوه. فساد نهب بتاع الابقار عشان الناس قالوا ماشيين يتزوجوا به ويعملوا او يتباع. اختطاف اطفال ونساء عشان يمشوا يباعوا كعبيد. ده شنو ده؟ مين العامل الفساد؟ مين العامل الفساد؟ Who is doing the corruption? I want any of you to elaborate on those. Let me give you 5 minutes each and tell us who is doing the corruption and what kind of corruption. Brother Otto, if you can elaborate on that.
Okay, thank you. I think this is the second question has to be answered clearly, which is mean we have to mention who is doing that without fear, without going back. When we define the corruption, it's abuse of power by official, government official. Very simple. They just put the constitution, the laws, regulation aside, and they're using their modes. So when you wake up in the morning, what do you want to do? If it come in his mind that, or her mind, he want to build the hotel in Kampala, I'm quite sure he just give order. Hey, how much we have in our account there? Wherever the amount they said, can you pull them out? After that, the car will come, take over to Uganda or Kenya. So when you look at the situation, you don't have another choice to define somebody out of government. That means who is a supervisor? It's a Salva Kiir. We don't have another choice, because if he's applying the rule, this thing cannot happen. And let me give you a very simple example. You know, when yesterday, when people say, oh, Salva Kiir is going to South Africa, the stock of Southern Sudan market, it went up. The price of everything is like security come to Southern Sudan. So everybody is preparing himself. If Salva is going to stay in South Africa, that's the only opportunity to go to Southern Sudan so you can invest, real investment. But when people hear, oh, Salva is coming back, you will see the stock will go down again. So that means what? Somebody who is doing that thing is a president. Because you see that in Western world. You know, last time in America, when we have an election, Trump, he did some other mistake, administrative mistake. He tried to bring something in 60s. Yeah, like a race card. He trying to bring it up. So what happened? American value of money went down because that thing, it created a problem within United States. Even the market is affected. So when people of America, they saw this guy is dangerous, they come with a new president. So when they come with a new president, you can see now America went back to the way people they know about America, who is America. So this is the problem people they need to understand. Market is a trust. If there is a corruption in Southern Sudan, forget anyone who can invest his money in Southern Sudan. That's why you see official, they send them, they have a foreign account with the currency, US or sterling, because they don't trust the situation within Southern Sudan, even Juba. You see now we don't have even bank. You can take your money and put it in the constitution. This is the problem we have in Southern Sudan, and this is real. We need to look at it from the bottom of economy situation. So the has been used to shape your economy. You have to make sure you have a security in the bank so that people, they can come to invest their money. But you cannot come today and say, hey, I want to invest my money in Southern Sudan, while you know there is something really very dangerous. I cannot put my money to Southern Sudan. The same thing to anybody. Even people of Southern Sudan, the official, they don't have a bank account in Southern Sudan because they know what's going on, you know. So the corruption we have in Southern Sudan is really become high because of abuse of power. They don't know the dangers of when you don't have a security. And this is what we need General Salva Kiir to understand the situation. You know, one day, if he leave, trust me, you will see Southern Sudan, it will start again. It will go up, and all people of Southern Sudan, they will unite it. They will unite. So the problem now, if you look at when he left yesterday, I think everything, even security within Juba now is good. So now فساد ما في رشاوى يعني هسه في استقرار شويه في جنوب السودان. even لو انت سالت الناس جوبا هسه في استقرار نسبي موجود في بلد. سو ده بوري شنو؟ ان السلطه الخطوب بعيد والدستور خلاه يكون بعيد ده يا خلى جنوب بس يرجع ورا ونانو هنرجع ورا والشعب بتاعنا لسه تعبان هيكونوا تعبان اكثر واكثر اذا كان الحكومه ده ما يتغير. فعشان كده نقول ابنائنا وبناتنا واخواننا واخواتنا امهاتنا وابهاتنا ان فعلا محتاج مننا نتكلم. خلينا نيجي نتكلم. حاجه الكاب ما بمشي مع عادات والتقاليد بتاعنا لازم ناخده حاجه جانبي ولا بد نانو نيجي ونعمل الحاجه بتجيبنا في محل واحد. المهم حاجه الواحد ده شنو؟ هنا الموضوع بتاعت الفساد الموجود في جنوب السودان هو مربوط بحاجات الامنيه زي واحد مننا ذكر قبل. لو انا يوم موصول وعندي قوات بتاعي خاصه قوات ده باكل من وين؟ ما لازم نعمل حاجه ما كويس حاجه ما صح عشان هم يلقوا المرتبات بتاعهم عشان يلقوا اكل بتاعهم لانه ما ممكن يكونوا هم بربعوني في حاجات انا قاعد نعمله بدون ما كمان شنو عنده بتاعه. وعشان كده ما في مرتب ما دايرين ما محتاجين لمرتبات في جنوب السودان في الوقت الحالي. المحتاجين له حاسه حاليا تكون عندك قوه وتستخدمه استخدام خاطئ عشان تلقى بوراه حاجه والواقف ما كمان يلقى. لكن لو اتقطع بكره يا تلقى زاد حبل ده قطع من فوق ومشى لتحت وبقى كلهم في حفره واحد. فالمهم قدامنا مشوار طويل لابد نتوحد ولابد نتكلم ونقول حقيقه مره زي ما الناس بيقولوا. لكن في ناس لازم ياخدوا رقبتهم في الحبل عشان يقولوا حقيقه ده على اساس يقدر شنو يجيب الاستقرار للمواطن البسيط. عشان كده نحن في نايل نيشن ندوه هنتكلم في اشياء كثيره ما بفيد في جنوب السودان وما بفيد الشعب بتاعنا. معلش لو انا مشيت دقائق اكثر من اللي انت قلته انا برجع لك ثاني. شكرا.
يا شكرا. انا ما قصدي اسير موضوع الجدل زي ما انت قلت انه رئيس مشى ساوث افريكا ولا وين في زياره لمده 3 يوم. انا كنت بفتكر انه المفروض يحصل العكس، يعني المفروض الاسعار في السوق تنزل اذا كان في شخصيه الرئيس هو مشكل المشكل الوحيد وهو الشخصيه اللي بيرمز عليه بالكوربشن. يعني هو the most corrupted person لو احنا اجاز التعبير لانه اذا كان الفساد بيحصل قدامه وزي ما شفنا لما يطلع مشكله فساد اختلاس اموال هو بيطلع الشخص اوكي بقرار جمهوري، لكن بعد فتره ثاني بيجيب نفس الشخص اللي كان طرده باختلاس اموال بيديه منصب ثاني يمكن اكبر من اللي كان هو فيه قبل كده. واحنا سمعنا بالجوابات اللي كان هو قال انه كتب جوابات لناس كتار من المفروض انه يرجعوا الاموال اللي سرقوه ده. في بعض الناس كان بيقول اكيد هو كتب لنفسه برضه جواب واحد لكن زي ما شفنا ما في اي حاجه اتعملت اوكي ولا القروش اللي اختلصوهم ولا رجعوهم اوكي ولا الناس اللي اختلصوا الاموال ولا رجعوا الاموال ده في جنوب السودان عشان يقدروا مثلا يعملوا شركات سواء كان شركات زيوت ولا صابون ولا صلصه ولا تعليف فواكه. ما في اي زول ولا جاب شركه بتاع جزم ولا اي حاجه، كل الاموال دي ودوهم برا. يعني انا كنت بشوف ما قصدي انه يكون موضوع جدل، من المفروض رئيس طلع برا لو في امل انه ما يرجع من المفروض الاسعار تنزل تحت، لانه العبء اللي كان في رقبه الناس طلع. اكيد هو طالع ماشي لعلاج، لانه انا كنت شايفه يعني لما كان بياخد التطعيم يعني كان عينه خلاص واضح انه زول تعبان. لكن انا ما بقول خليه يتعالج وأنا داير سلفكير يشوف جنوب السودان بينهض ويبقى قوي، وهو شايفه، لأنه هو فشل ذريع برضو مع كبار أعيان قبيلة الدينكا اللي ما مثلوا أي شيء إلا زودوا الطين بلة في جنوب السودان. يا من المفروض الأسعار تنزل، أو لو رجع الغلاء يرجع تاني، لأنه المشكلة تاني رجع. لكن ما قصدي أعمل موضوع لجدل، لكن ده كان رأيي أنا شايف إنه من المفروض الأسعار تنزل.
اوكي، نوضح لك اكثر. طبعا انا ما نقدر نخش تاني، لكن بس عشان نوضح لك اكثر المفهوم بتاعت الاسعار بتاعت الاسم ده. طبعا القروش بطلع من الانسان في صوت شويه معلش. قروش بطلع للسوق يمن تشوف ان في امن اللي كان داسيو بطلع، بالتالي بكون في حركه بتاعت السوق. ده القصد بتاعي. وحركه بتاعت السوق يبور هنا اسعار حاجات كله بطلع برا، قروش بطلع برا، ومواد اللي دايرين نبيعوها اللي كان بده السوق قبل كده عشان طبعا بيبيعوا السوق الاسود برجع في المحل بتاعه. سو بكون في عمليه بتاعت شنو؟ يعني استقرار نسبي نتيجه لشنو؟ لوجود الامن في البلد. لكن لو انت شفت الوضع الموجود حاليا في جنوب السودان، طبعا في واحد هنا انا ما كان داير نجاوب عليه، هنا قال الاسعار بتاعت الاسهم، حاجه ده بقول ستوك، ده بقول اسهم باللغه العربيه. يوم السعر بتاع السهم يطلع فوق، ده بوري ان الاقتصاد فيها شنو؟ عمليه بتاعت التقدم او النمو. عشان كده انت بتشوف هنا في حركه في السوق. لكن لما نيجي عمليه بتاعت عدم الاسم ده، قروش برجع في جيوب الناس، بالتالي الاقتصاد اسعار بتاعت الحاجات ممكن ينزل بعض احيانا، لكن في معظم الفترات في اشياء كده بختفي في السوق. والمهم ما داير نتكلم في حاجات اقتصاديه، لكن نتكلم في شنو؟ ايه اللي بقدر بخلي جنوب السودان يجيب استقرار. طبعا الوضع الامني ده اهم من اي حاجه. لو في قانون مثلا بخلي الناس يمشي في الطريق الصح، انا متاكد بكون في عمليه بتاع شنو؟ بتاع الاستقرار. لكن لو ما في قانون او بتطبق القوانين ذات ما قاعد يطبقوا القانون، عشان كده انت تلقى اي حاجه فيها فوضى. كويس؟ اجنبي ممكن يجي يقول يا اخي سعر بتاع المويه زي ما سمعناه قبل فتره في جوبا، قال الاسعار بتاعه طلع فوق وبيجيو من البحر ما نغي، بس يملى برميل ويجي يبيعه للجنوبين وبيبيعوا بنفس الاسعار. ده ما المفروض، ده مويه بتاعنا ذاته، يعني هو المفروض يجيبوه مجان ويوزعوه مجان، لكن معلش المهم قانون ما في، فاي حاجه بيكون شنو؟ فوضى. فعشان كده حاجه كنا بدنا نوضح. ولكن شكرا على
Thank you so much. Sister Juju, who is doing the corruption in South Sudan and how?
Thank you. I thought you forgot about me. I would like a video to be played. Pearl, if you can play that video before I speak. The last one I sent you. I can't hear you.
She's mute.
Yeah.
I say, let me try a different way. Okay. I hope it's going to work. Okay. Let me try a different way. Okay.
Okay.
I hope it's going to work. I think this is the one.
Okay.
Okay. Our viewers, please bear with us. Let us watch this video together. And
police are investigating the circumstances under which a South Sudanese tycoon known
that
for
is the one,
splashing
right?
around US dollars
Yes.
went missing. Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Luka Wasegiaya on Wednesday said Mr. Lual Malong Jr.'s family filed a report at Kabalagala Police Station. Mr. Wasegiaya said the family told police that they had not heard from Mr. Malong Jr. since November 14th. They said he was picked up from his hotel room in Kabalagala, a Kampala suburb, by people in military uniform, who arrived in 2 vehicles. We are investigating the circumstances under which he was picked up. His brother reported the matter to police. I can confirm he is not in our custody, the spokesperson said. He said police were liaising with other security agencies. The station quoted Mr. Malong's relative as saying, the hotel guys said Lual was picked up by UPDF soldiers who came in 2 vehicles, but the UPDF has denied the claim. The name of the hotel remains anonymous as both police and the family have not revealed it to the press. We do not know who abducted him from the hotel. What we know is that Lual has no problem with the government of Uganda. We are very concerned as his family members. Brigadier Richard Kamaya, the spokesperson of the Uganda People's Defense Force, said the army was not holding Mr. Malong. I have no information about that individual being held by the UPDF, he said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That is a good video right there. I heard about it before.
Did you know that you can
but
make money from YouTube?
I didn't see it before.
That is
So, yes,
powerful one, yeah.
go, Sister Juju.
Thank you.
We saw along there, we saw somebody look like his son and Salva Kiir there. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. The question is, who is doing the corruption? If I may get it right. We know that we might deny it. It's not, I disagree, it's not South or Eastern Africa. We South Sudanese, we are corrupted, especially us that are in diaspora too. Let us not forget. Let us blame all of us, starting from the president until the lower bodyguard in South Sudan. Because we had stories of Petronas, Ebony, Saga, the ghost lists, Jew Mining Company, Sky Mineral Company. All those companies, politicians and government officials, they are cutting deals. They have shares in those companies. So we know that South Sudan is among the worst corrupted country in the world. Our nation was ranked in 2014 as the 5th. I don't know, maybe by now it's the 2nd. I don't know. I just want to say this, that we might deny it, but this is facts. There's a sanctuary report that has been done twice. They've talked about it. The United Nations have talked about it. International communities, even us, all of us, we know that South Sudan is corrupted. So South Sudan is the only country that people become overnight millionaires by working in the government, or by having your uncle working in the government, or your uncle working in the military or in the security. People become millionaires overnight in South Sudan. Every politician working and cutting deals, politicians are cutting deals, starting, like I said, from Mr. President and to the lower person, even supporter of the government. If you support Salva Kiir, you said, Salva Kiir, oh yeah, you get a deal. They cut you something. They give people money. But the sad thing is our poor civilians that are living in South Sudan. And this is what they do. The government, they keep South Sudan leaders, let's say, they use scares of war. They use war to loot billions of dollars to enrich themselves. They will create a war. They will say there's a fake coup d'etat. They will start killing people while people are running displacement. The people that are back home that cannot run, they run to the UNIMES compound. The people that stay home, they intimidate you. They make you suffer. All you think is about hunger, how I can survive. But while they keep themselves looting the resources, this is how the leaders keep the money, and then the money that they keep, while keeping everybody busy, running, displacement, hunger, killing people, burning people, raping women, all the money that they get, they store it, like what Pell said, offshore. Their assets, they buy houses in Uganda, they buy houses in Kenya, in like rich places. They store the money in diaspora, say for example, in UK or Australia or Canada or the US. Instead, we see that many people, this is what we teach. This is what I want to say. This is how we teach our children and future generation that working, the only way that you can be respected is to steal or embezzle government funds. Because in South Sudan now, if you want to become rich, you join, for example, you join opposition, you get a job, you get money, you run with it to the diaspora. Or you defect and join Salva Kiir's camp in Juba, you'll get paid, they'll give you like 10,000 or 15,000 US dollars, you get a position. Those are all the types of corruption that we see. Like authors say, we have nepotism, because corruption happens with, it flows with favoritism and nepotism. They all flow together. These are the types: extortion, fraud, embezzlement of funds, like I said. And the people that are doing that, these are the inner circles of the president. Because it starts from the president, vice president. We have seen the lists when George Clooney came out with the Century report on CNN. The list that comes up, it starts from Mr. President and then it goes down. So all the list, we see government officials, families that are outside in diaspora. They buy houses, they flash their dollars. Take, for example, the video that I showed right now of Lawrence Jr., the young tycoon. He's nobody, but because he's a son of somebody, of Paul Malone, and his close ally to the president, he became rich. He's swimming in dollars. And he cannot even speak English, like one sentence. And there's so many youth that are educated. There's so many graduates that are sitting in South Sudan that don't have a job. But here, Lawrence is a billionaire, as he claimed, and is just one of those overnight billionaires. And this is true nepotism. He got the job because he knows somebody that knows someone. You know, those are the things that are really hard to fight corruption, because it has to start from Mr. President. We know that some people have been sanctioned because the money that they have in their accounts has been, they're inciting war in South Sudan while they're enriching themselves. And some people have been sanctioned, their accounts has been frozen, and through the Century reports and many other reports that we know, now international community, or the UN is taking charges. And there's so many other reports that are going on. And for Lawrence, in November of 2018, he was caught. He was caught in a suburb in Kampala for faking dollars and having a fake gold company. These are all true corruptions, you know. So one other thing that I wanted to add, an example of nepotism, is what President Salva had done a couple of days ago. he appointed his son, Tik Salfakir, as a deputy director, deputy executive director in the president's office, in his own office. So how about the other poor people that are graduates that don't know nobody? How did he get the job there? It's because his dad is the president. Those are the kinds of things that we know in South Sudan. We have to talk about it. Abdel Khan is sitting here and saying that when Mary Tik, they say that all this is propaganda. How come you guys are with us here while Tik, the son of Mr. President, is the executive director in his own office, and you guys are supporting that government, and you don't want us that come out here to talk about the truth? You say that we are making propaganda. Anyways, let me get back to this. My stress is going to be on the sanctuary report. Governor, I wanted to start with Waniga. Waniga has shares of 3 licenses in the mining sector in gold. His son's name is there, Emmanuel Waniga, his wife, Governor Lobong, his son, his wife. They own good houses like villas in Karen neighborhood in Kenya, in Nairobi. Governor Lobong is known, he's been controlling the gold mine in Kabuta because Sulfur has certain license too, has shares. Sulfur's daughter, Winnie, 20-year-old, has a name of a company that she owns because she's the daughter of the president. You know, those are the things that we say that it has to start from the president. That's why we always sit here, we talk about the regime change. That's why we sit here, we talk about the revitalization, the peace agreement, the implementation of the peace agreement, because we need the government to be changed in South Sudan. We need the security arrangements to be formed, because in Kaboita we know that Sapa has a military that guides the gold mining so that nobody else can come there. They even kill the natives, the people that live there in Kaboita, and they don't provide basic needs. There's no water, there's no clean water, like basic services provided to the people of Eastern Equatoria. Same thing in Upper Nile. The oil companies are from Upper Nile state. How come there's no services? There's no services, basic need services. And we sit here, we still support the government. If we go to Upper Nile, I believe there's no schools, there's no healthcare services, there's no clean water. We can drink from the River Nile. The government can provide that to the people. This is all what people are asking for. We just need basic needs: electricity, water, health services, good education. If you provide that to the citizens don't need anything else. And for us, we will come back to the solutions. What can be done? I like when sanctions has been done.
We come to it later. We come to it later. Yeah. I don't mean if to cut you, but we will come to it later, right?
Yeah.
The solution.
Okay.
Yes.
To conclude.
Okay.
Well, just conclude really quick. Sorry, I know I got fired up and stuff.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, favoritism. We favor friends. So people that are in the government, because you're so and so daughter, you're a family friend, they hire their relatives and friends and give them top positions in the government. While the ordinary person that has skills, that have capacity to build the nation is not given chance. We have people like Vice President Taban Dengai, and some generals, they've been involved in some deals in 2016 after the incident of the when they killed people in Juba. So those are the things that those are the people that are involved. Vice President Tabandengai, Waniga, starting from Salva Kiir, we can name it. There's a list of it. And the president doesn't have a strong measurement taken against that because he's involved in it. That's why he said, oh, the 75 people, we will give them time to return the money. Because he's one of them. The only way to overcome corruption, nepotism, favoritism, and all that.
Leave it later.
Government change. Thank you.
You don't want to answer that later on, eh?
Thank you.
You know, I do agree with you, but it's very unfortunate that some of us will remain in denial just because they got blindsided with tribalism. That's why you see people don't want us to talk about the corruption, don't want us to blame the government. Who to blame? Who to blame? If we don't blame the government, who is running the show in South Sudan? Is the government. Who is the president? Is Salva Kiir. How come he will not be blamed? If his supporter and himself don't want to be blamed, step aside, man. Leave the government to the people that will run it. Nepotism, it's a bad thing. فساد إداري. فساد إداري. احنا عارفين زمان انه لما الشخص يتخرج ليف لو ولده مؤهل ولا عنده PhD ولا مصيبة زمان، انت من المفروض يعني اداريا تعين في مناصب البسيطة عشان تكسب الخبرة. اوكي؟ عشان تكسب الخبرة. يعني لدرجة انه واحد يتخرج الليلة يشتري له ماستر ديجري من somewhere ويمشي، اوكي؟ ويمشي يعينوه، قال اسمه شنو ده؟ اندر سكرتيري. وزمان احنا عارفين الوزارات يعني في ناس كده شيوخ كده يا اخي راسهم ذاته بقى ابيض من درجه انه الخبره يعني شربوه شراب، لكن بعد شويه سياسيا everything is politicized with the corruption that we have. يجيبوا لك ولا الصغير ولا عنده خبره ولا عارف يعمل شنو، لكن is a part of nepotism. اوكي؟ يجيبوه يخطوه في راسك. وفي ناس وكلاء وزاره جايين بترقيات لحد ما يوصلوا وكيل بتاع وزاره. حتى الوكيل وزاره بقى مسيس. ده corruption، ده فساد. اوكي؟ ف يعني الناس تفاجئ بعدين بالتغيير الحقيقي لما يحصل. احنا ما بنقول انه يا اخي البلد المفروض يكون قبيله فلان يا هو يعمله ولا شخص من قبيله فلان، لا لا لا، اي شخص من اي قبيله مسموح له يعني يرعس الدوله ده، لكن بشرط انه ما يكون شخص فاسد زي ما شايفين في الشخصيه بتاعت سلفا كير. فاسد ليه ضفوره ولا ليه سنونه؟ فساد غلط. لكن مع الأسف الشديد في ناس هنا عماهم القبلية وما قادرين يشوفوا الحقيقة. احنا ما بنقول انه دينكا، لا، احنا بنقول شخصية هو فاسد. لكن في ناس كويسين في قبيلة، ويوم من الأيام ربنا حيجيبهم الناس الكويسين ديل ويرفعوا قدامنا عشان جنوب السودان تنحط لقدام ويتطور، بدل ما فاسدين يعملوا الدولة. يا أخي ما قادرين يجيبوا ولا شركة زيت يا أخي، كل القروش حربوهم برا. معلش الموضوع شويه صعب، لكن بس يعني الناس اللي عميانين ديل اهو بس نطلب من الخالق انه يفتح عيونهم، والا هيتفاجئوا في اخر الزمن. بعدين هيتفاجئوا وخلاص هم حرقوا الكباري بتاعهم. ويليام, who is doing corruption and why?
I think you guys, sorry, the people is spoken before me, they answered it already. You started in the beginning اللي هو الفضية بتاع الذرة. اوكي, يمكن في معظم بتاع شعب جنوب السودان يمكن ما بيعرفين الفضية بتاع الذرة. هو فضية أكبر political scandal or a political corruption. يعني إن معناته إن مثلا ده جا كان من spirit بتاع we liberated you, we liberated, because في أصوات كتير بيقولوا نينا أترى يوم ده في واحد من إخواننا من الدنكا كان بكلم قال نينا حررناكم والهلية لطيف كان من أول ناس كان محرفين وحررنا وعملنا. but أنا كنا بقول الإنسان لما يكون ignorance to the truth can just speak as much as she or he want, because the slave cannot liberate anybody. Ali Abdul Latif was a slave used by the northern Sudanese. Okay, if you read about the history of Sudan, and mostly the book from the British, they mention very clearly the problem to help the Southern Sudanese with the Northern is the problem of the black Islamized Southern Sudanese. هم يوم مشكلة اللي هو الناس اللي عملوا اللي هو بقى مسلمين اللي هو السود في جنوب السودان هم يوم مشكلة مش شمالين. فعلي عبد اللطيف اللي عنده شعر كبير في الخرطوم بيقولوا شعر علي عبد اللطيف، والاخوانا بسيطين من دانخ بغني قالوا بطل. He was a slave, they need to know that one, but there is now a slave that can be free to decide. Inter a slave, we know the meaning of a slave. You are there to be told stand up, sit down, eat, don't eat, take shower, don't take shower. This is the work of a slave. But a slave does not have a freedom to say, I am going to do this one. So the spirit of we have been born to rule, or we liberated you, is echoing into other people's mind. So as a result, الذرة قضية بدا الذرة مع اننا حررنا بلد مشكلة، حررنا البلد خلينا ناكل. طيب كيف ناكل؟ How can we eat؟ يا اخي انت وزير المالية هو البتانا، انت تجيب الاسماء كلهم اي واحد بس اسماء الوهمية زي جرماية قال جوز نيم، سجل اسمك انت عم تمول المدينة بالذرة. اوكي، وانت حامل الورقة بتاعك كم ذرة الموجود عندك؟ يا اخي عندي 100 مليون شوال، عندي 200,000 شوال. اوكي امشي البنك صدقوا لك شيل هناك والذرة ما في مثل ما ذكر الشوال. اوكي، بس هل الناس اللي كانوا في الفيلج اللي كانوا في القرية بتاعهم هم يا فاسدين؟ نو، وزير المالية والرئيس الدولة اوكي هم يا فاسدين. اوكي الذرة ده راح، وجدنا بعد شوية 75 شخص، 75. ويمكن انا متذكر وقت ده يمكن دكتور لاما كول كتر خيره، يمكن اني مثلا وقت كان في معارضه هو جهد كبير وحامل بحث وضغط على الحكومه. يمكن وقت ده ماشي للجوبا، سلفا كير كان قرب عليه شويه ومشى وما بيعملوا شنو ما بنعرفينه. لكن من خلال الكلام ده كشف انه مثلا في 75 موظف هم الاسماء بتاعهم موجود في الكوربشن. طيب كم قروش الجماعة ديل 75 ده؟ كم واحد الواحد منه كان عنده كم قروش؟ يعني كان يمكن من أدنى واحد اللي كان عنده قروش هو يمكن 20,000 ل 50,000 مليون دولار أمريكية. طيب أنت شيله قول 25,000 ل 75 كله، ضربها 75 مليون أمريكية لل 75 شخصي، بيطلع لك شنو؟ بيطلع لك بليون و 875 مليون. طيب هم بيقولوا قال الشعب جنوب السودان السكان بتاعه 8 مليون، هم بيقولوا هيك مظبوط. اضربها القروش دي لل 8
مليون.
مليون
12 مليون.
اوكي. طيب قول 8 مليون اقسموا عليهم كلهم، انت قاعد في البيت بتاعك بس اقسموا عليهم، واحد بطلع كم؟ 234 وشويه الف. ده القروش ده لو جبت ساعه قسمت الناس بيموتوا في الشوارع ده. اوكي. ولكن قروش ده ماشي لل 25 وبعدهم بياكلوا في جوبا مثل ما انت ذكرته قبل شويه. نو انت جوجو ثانك يو في الفيديو انت شاركته ده يا حقيقه مره، ولكن في الجوياو قبيل قال كلام كتير مهم. سألوه سؤال قال انت زار ما كنت بتجند الاولاد وما بتعرف، كنت بتحمل تقتل وتسرق وما بعرف. انت عارف قال شنو قبل؟ اذا كان كلام ده من قلبه. هو قال ان سان بول كان عمل تخريب كبير جدا، استحد الشوش. He persecuted the church. He killed from Damascus and went all until Jesus appeared and then confronted him. But Yahweh is saying that I'm a repentant person and a nadim. And then he mentioned something, demobilization of the truth of Junud Bidam. To do many orientation, to bring peace to their corrupted heart and mind. So he said, I'm a changed person. I'm a changed person. I'm demobilizing my former soldier or something like that. That is good thing to hear, you know. So, but if we keep saying that, why do you talk about Paul Malong? And Paul Malong is waging war today. How can you wage a war to fight with the people who are victim if he didn't confess? Even his son was involved in this. When I look at this poor son of Paul Malong, I call him poor person because he's just morally corrupt, ignorant. I related his innocence to the person who was shot long time ago during the American War. The black guy used to carry the chair of the white man, and the white man go with in an airplane with his daughter, and on the way they landed, and then they have to go hunting, and this black man have to carry the chair. Wherever they rest, he will put down the chair. But one time, this guy said, I cannot continue carrying the chair after you, and then you don't pay me. Your father didn't pay me. The father has already gone ahead of them. And when the father looked back, he saw the daughter and this black guy talking together. And then he asked, what is going on? And then the daughter said, the guy said he don't want to work. Why? Because we didn't pay him the salary. And then he come back to them and he asked it, what did you say? And then he said, I cannot work because you didn't pay me a salary. Pay you the salary, yeah. And then the guy ordered his daughter to shoot the guy. And he shot him and he died. What did he say, this white man? He said, After the guy is dead, he said, money, money. Do you know money? You know? So if you can see this poor Paul Malong's son, what does he understand with money? Look at him showering the money. Even he don't know where the dollar is coming from. He's just showering. I never see a white person who started a notion of the money showering with money. And he's stealing the money, not in a bank, carrying the money. That is ignorance. He don't know what to do, you know. So is to talk about who are the corrupt leaders. Yes, Salva Kiir. He's the one to be blamed. And remember one thing, that one time he told his soldier, I don't remember which year. He said, there is no salary for you. You have to figure it out. انت لازم دبر نفسك. معناته إنه مثلا أمشي, you have to rape the woman, you have to do what? You have to steal, you have to do what? That is the president telling the soldier. I didn't Otto was saying, or who was saying before, Jeremiah, God, when you coming from Uganda, there are like 40 tables. So, okay, the president said already, do that. There is order. No rule. It's a no man land. Don't ask me for your salary, but do your own way. So Salva Kiir, behind him, people have to steal because he's stealing. But if he has a will to be a leader, he will stop stealing, and then now he can correct the people behind him. And remember, I will end up here. God said, you cannot clean the dirt in other person's eyes if you didn't clean the dirt in your eyes. So Salva Kiir's eyes cannot see because he's a master of corruption. So he cannot see the people behind him because he's a leader of the group that are doing corruption in South Sudan. Thank you.
Before I ask Mabor and Jeremiah, I consider you as a veteran. I think the movement, even before it's become a government, I think there is corruption there. If you guys can remember anything to tell us, the corruption didn't start just only when Salva Kiir become a president in South Sudan. But I think the corruption was being there. I want you to just shift a little bit and tell us something. Because corruption, it's something, it's become a cancer that really people need to work hard for it, to get rid of it. It's not easy. It's going to take time, but it needs a leader with determination. Of course, there is a lot of people that even with us, maybe they reap the dividend of the corruption. They are benefited from the corruption. You can be here in the Western world, in Australia, in Canada, in Europe, and things like that, but you work for the government as a spy, and you get paid. No problem. As long as we will be careful not to be with you together in South Sudan. That is what we have to make sure of, right? Because
that's good, huh?
We don't know what you guys are holding against any one of us. But anyway, corruption is a problem. It's a cancer. We need to deal with it. We have to talk with it. يعني لازم نوضح للجماهير الشعب السوداني، الشعب جنوب السودان، الما عندهم لا حول ولا قوة لهم عشان يعرفوا انه الحكومه اللي معاهم فاسد، لكن صح ما حيقدروا يتكلموا. هتعمل شنو؟ ما حيضيعوك، لانه في شخصيه الرئيس فاسد من كل الانواع، فاسد اداريا، فاسد اخلاقيا، كل الانواع الفساد، فاسد اجتماعيا، كله. ما في نوع فساد ما عنده. الرشاوي ده حاجه واضح جدا، انه تخلص امورك عن طريق بتاع الرشوه. لكن لما الرئيس يرأس دوله وحاصل فيه الاشياء دي وهو ما قادر يتكلم، وهو ما قادر يطلع عقوبات صارمه عشان الناس دي يعاقب ويبعدوهم خالص، يبقى ده رئيس بتاع شنو؟ كل امور مسيسه عندنا لدرجه انه الرئيس يجي في برلمان ويجي يهدد ناس في برلمان. ده نوع من فساد ده. خلاص ما في زول عنده راي. عشان كده لازم الامور تتغير، الامور تتغير. عشان كده لازم احنا يعني نخلي الشعب الجنوب السوداني البسيط يفهم الحاصل، او يعرف على الاقل اللي هو شايفه هناك احنا برضه شايفينه هنا برا. Brother Mabur, if you can tell us, because I know also the corruption didn't start with the government in South Sudan, but even during the time of liberation, there was a corruption. Can you tell us a little bit?
Indeed, when I try to distance it from South Sudanese, when I say the corruption is involved East Africa, yes, indeed, I mean it. It involves East Africa, because if East Africa distance themselves from power of giving power to certain group within South Sudan, so South Sudanese should rise up and finishing their own situation, and then this corruption should be gone. But because someone is powering the person who doing the corruption, so that's why I was putting that, try to distance it from South Sudanese. Yes, indeed. Let's come to reality. South Sudanese are so corrupt, and it's not a yesterday corrupt. It was even the beginning of the movement. If I go to this, and my current president, who is in South Sudan today, is so corrupt. He himself so corrupt when he was in the bush as a commander. I think my brother Bilkon will be witnessing this. Let's put it into reality. When we were in the bush, each and every single South Sudanese joined the bush with so many huge group that can even go and create their own song to morale their own people who left behind somewhere. But guess what? If I'm going to tell you this, you guys will be surprised. Each and every people who are remaining into training center are individual group who are a certain tribe. And then none of those tribes will never be in the training, those who are going to train group. If I tell you, each and every center for training place are a certain tribe out of all the tribe who are in South Sudan who joined the bush. The leaders, I mean the leaders who are leading the camps, those for camp training. I can even mention them 1, 2, 3, 4. And everybody knows when I mention this, if I even ask Abel Kon and ask him who are the Bonga command that leading the Bonga.
Can you leave Abel Kon alone? You don't need to mention people names as long they're not here. Just keep going with your comments, please.
There's a question he brought, and I will be answering that question. He brought a question, and that's why I will be answering that question about the 10 state after referendum. I will be answering you, Abel Kun. So see, so this, if you're mentioning this training center, Dima Center, Bunga Center, Bilfam Center, come to Pinyendok Center, go etc. up to Sarpam Center, who was been created and then later been put into become a center of children, but it was started was a training center, and then go to Korgana Center in Bluna. So all those, if you mentioning them, who are the people who are guiding those centers? Who had the command of those centers? You will even be mentioning them 1, 2, 3. And what did that mean? And what did that call? It's a corruption itself. Okay? It's a corruption itself. And who was involved into those corruption? He, President Kiir, was a part of that corruption. Okay? So it is in our president blood. Come after we sign peace, and then sorry for our loss, our commander-in-chief John Grant. Although, as even when I'm saying for that, I was disagreeing with him. I was a child and I was disagreeing with John Grant with a certain thing. Although I were a minority from the people who disagree with him. So, but it's a late. After he's gone, then what happened? It happened to have prosperity for President Kiir, and then deputized by Dr. Machar, and then we formed the new country called South Sudan. Before we go to referendum, the corruption increased itself. That cannot even be told no, because there are people who was doing that corruption intentionally, who are not even happy for independence of South Sudan, because there were people who are not happy for independence of South Sudan, and they was agitating everything. So if people should open their mouths, and then people should go back to war, and then we will lose the country, South Sudan. And then the people who have eager to make sure South Sudan should be a country set themselves back, don't want to talk about that corruption, and then they were looting the country. And if you don't know the person who was asking, what about Afernal State or Jongale State or whatever, let me put this into reality. Each and every governor, they were supervised by Salva Kiir. Whoever had a 25% or 5% annual for his state, all was being divided by that governor and the president himself. Taban Dengai was not in good gesture with the people of Unity State. That's what lead our brothers to be separated because of Taban, and who was backing him up is himself, Salva Kiir, because they were using that 5%, dividing it into 2. And Taban Dengai, you know, that was not in good mood with Riek Machar, and everybody knows. The same to Kun Point. My brothers, so let be realistic here. How this corruption goes. After we got independent, when someone say enough is enough, we need to make sure corruption need to be tackled. It inside war. That's why the president himself, when was young council about that, went to Warab and Gorian, what he said in his mouth, I quote, bind on with broom in Denka language. That thing alone is a corruption. It's not even a tribalism, it's a corruption to make sure he's going to maintain it. So, where on earth that people should go and visit the president by the name Banyachijwe? If they say a Kunjwe, then people will be reluctant behind. If they say a Chijwe, then things will be going chaos. Kadanwan. They bring it aside. Where on earth a thing like that should happen? Where on earth someone will be fired because he got caught as a thief? Let's say like those who are working in his prison, in his office as a president. They fire them, they jail them for some months, and now when they release them, they're hiring them again. What is that code itself? It's a corruption. Where on earth the person who was being fired recently, not even in 10 months, not even in 10 months or 13 months. Yeah, not even in 13 months. Marial Bayman, he was fired because he was corrupt. There was a money that he took it. What happened? They hired him again. So where on earth people should think this is not a corruption? I may put it down into lower to make sure I don't want to take a lot of time, but let's put it into reality. To bring peace into this country, let's unite it. Either if it is me who is corrupted, hold me accountable as a South Sudanese, not as an individual. That I will be called, oh, I'm a Dinka, so Nuer will go after me because I'm a Dinka. Or Dinka will go after me because I'm a Chulu. Or Chulu will go after me because I'm a Nuer. No, we need to make sure that person is corrupted. If it is corrupted, like I mentioned it's a lot of things in the paper we sign, and all these are in the reality. So let's unite it. Yeah, okay. Then I will be stopped from that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because I start looking at the time and it's so close for us to go. I will have a last question for you, and I will put it in this example. But Jeremiah, you're gonna answer me with the question I asked you and Mabor during the movement. Where's the corruption there, right? Because maybe it's followed us till now. I know there is one elder was asked before from my community was asked, how do you describe the government? And he said, my description to the government is a bunch of thieves that unite together and embezzling the money of the poor. إنه الحكومة هي عبارة عن مجموعة من حرامية تكتلوا مع بعض ليسرقوا أموال الفقراء يعني corruption بقى مشكلة. لكن عندي سؤال أخير وانتوا تجاوبوا عليه بعدين. احنا عارفين اغلب الانظمه يمكن في العالم الغربي هنا in the Western world, money or where we work, no one give you cash unless if you work under the table. But most of the time you get paid checks, and every one of us has a bank account, and you go cash the money in the bank. There is a lot of banks in South Sudan. The majority are working for the government. Why the government is failing to pay their employees through checks? Because that is where I realize most of the money that got stolen is all in cash. In cash. The accountant will be given money in cash that go pay this way. And few individuals, their name will fall out from the payroll. And then we have goes money, goes names that also a general or whatever, they have 5 family members that their names in the pay sheet, and then they get paid. But they are not there. Even some of them could be children. Even some of them are dead. They are not alive. So why the government is failing to introduce the system of checks, right? Everybody goes there, take cash. That by itself, it's supporting the corruption. You give somebody money in cash, it will run away with it. It will flee with it. Anyway, that question, I want you to answer it later on, why we fail to do that, because I see it also is another problem. But Jeremiah, can you tell us, where did the corruption start? Is it start where you guys were in the movement? You can unmute yourself. Okay, I did.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. It is really very difficult question, but I will answer it based on what I know. They made the SPLA في 80 شهر 4 نفس السنة مشيت في إثيوبيا في العمر 14 سنة. في 1986 شهر 10 مشينا في بونغو في إثيوبيا للتدريب. أنا كنا في كتيب الجيش الأمريكي في اللي وزلزال. في فترة أنا كنت قاعد في إيتام ماسكر دم مسجدين. فصار أنا ما عرفت هناك، أنا ما أعرف شان أنا سقير وشان أنا ما عرفت. في وقت ده كان قاعد منطقة ده وادي اسمه دكتور رامان من أولاد بارغزال. زولا أنا قاعد في البيت زار دكتور رامان ده. قاعدة تعرف أنا كنا بنعرف one by one. في بونغو أنا ما عرفت فساد. أنا كتيب أنا كتيب جيجا أمريكان اللي بسبومي أو 77 كان كتاب كان كتير في برغير 1 لكن جيجا أمريكان في headquarter. لقيت قار مركب ده واحد اسمه ميونديت سموه ميونديت يو كان قاعد بتاع جيرال تريننج سنتر هو بون ومن بارغزال. ما في حاجة أنا شفت هناك. لو أنا ضربت في ميروايد ما جزء من سورة السلفة أنا ما يفكر تيجي جلامر أنا ما أتذكر اسامي في ناس قاعدين مع سلفة كيراسا أندرا ما يسوى في تفسير كنا ما في تفسير وايد لكن أنا ما أتذكر اسامي ففي 87 خرجوا كتيب الجامر بغيرة جنرال بغيرة تم أنا ما شفت فساد في بونغو saat magi biara tem kan gad ketiba ta jeja amer ma fi haja na shufta na huwa corruption ana ma shufta wal kan ضباط كثير من ضباط كان ضباط جيش الامر كثير كان من اولاد البور ما شفت حاجه هناك وقت ده انا كنت ارد في جيش الامر انا كنت ارد واحد اسمه يرماش يدو اخو اسمه مجون ماج so انا ما شفت يا جناب في جيش الامر في 87 ماجي 1987 anuna betizimata au jumata kwa boida jeja amel sharu le komodo sharu siriyeten so na kuna wide min nazar kan sharu le komodo na kuna fi ula fi komodo na kana kuna firaza ta yao mesheda raza ta Dr. John gubal kida san ma kuna gaidin fi gubal ma wasalna fi kopoida kunta kanu walisim general wala mum au kan gaidi tana pe ko ragro so ana ma shukra fasad san mana kuna gaidi komando raza Dr. John ana ma shukra fasad fi sentizain san na komando ma tinzimat di subia bada miliat mechede fi mafaya gulo comes community ana ma shukra fasad kan gata mafaya and rezol muhim lazim kale fi dunia ana ma shukra ya haja nak ana akunda masi gidara ta mafaya rezol kan na wala bo jero la nyara piu now generally ana ma shukra e fazat petiat giat buta Dr. John afigaba lano ana kuma jani kan government ga ya kan kem pamanda uta itam percentagein taban asal seratisa ta yodat salamulena san majele la miliat so John goran kan musuda lew jiden yani seratisa ta yoda jodat lañ be gruj ta inat kan be jiwu fi tan kan lage gruj inat so is the country fasat iteker kan arba de ma bazar haydin haji be golo subcoms kan de wadi o masigum na wala bar gazal na wala biye zole kan du arba ta SPLA biam ma wasim garang danga gor na zo kan gadi amul business ta jata SPLA so is berat ta asala ta arbat de gruji jama da gadi amul yaw bi arbat de yaw binara yaw basar bo is berat ta jade deru kijuzum na jadi fi military barracks ta Ugandan army ana bar ba jade tamam now nasal kan gadi fi muktab ta CNC ana ma shufta haja nak kana fi fasad ما في حاجه كان انا سميت هناك لانه كان في مكتب بتاع CNC هو اونربل فاغانا موم دانا لوركول إليجا ملوك إليجا ملوك وكان ده بتاع ساراري لكن سامسون كواجا نادا مروم يدوا لينا بي والكده انا بعرف شيلو ده كتير كان ما في فاساد زار في مكتب جون جرام في الإيست أفريقيا لو نازل كان ماسكين مكتب CNC مكتب الجناية السياسة في شرق أفريقيا لو فيها اتفاقية قاعد يعملوا هم يو برسلوا كان ما في جروج بكسر شوف ده يعني SPLA كان بمشي ميلاد من ماشين فوق عشان يمشي تنشر سياسات تا SPLA وشالهم مقابله ما حاجة نون بنقول SPLA شفت abroad كان ما كان ماشي تا بتاع ترانسبورت وبتاع مصاريف بتاع نازل so كان فساد كان ما في SPLA كان ما دولة عشان كده أنا بنقول لما نجد أصل معناها البلغاو بسيط بيشغل بها حاجة تصورة أنت نحن قاعد نجر طائرات بنشيل ذخائر عندنا في نيو سايت بشيلوا لجبل نوبة طائرات بنجروا بقروش كاش شوف ده وأنا متذكر من أجد في معناها فازت ما في so يعني إسبراد بنسرو جاس بنسرو كم حاجة ناقص في SPLA أجد بيأكل أجد بيأكل ما في حاجة ناقص ما سوى زي جيجا في جوبا هم قاعد يتفاهم وبيجي بيبيو في سوق يعني يالو يأكل أجد كان ما قال لنا في قاب يوم داك في زمن دا جون جرام أجد سلاسة للاساكل الزمن اللي كان لسه في يونيفورم مسا في وقت ده سلفا وبلد فيه بترول وفي ريسورسز وفي أي حاجة كده so أنا لما نشوف إذا كان في فساد كمان انقلاب 1991 أنا كنت في كوفويدا saat ma kan John Garang kan badlat Dr. Yang Mesha Dr. Lam ini yiji pili na ya do bara min Nasir o yiji ko pore jana ya mo litima ishu fin bishuno anda kuna fina so a statement na sta gada ta ku alamolo ma fi haja ta fasa zare na fi statement taw alana bare ko nundum mudu bini distribution bita tozi bita modafat ta ameliyat da kota ta ameliyat au mukan talabo ma John Garang would use something to do like promotion zai tariga lo ga dasa sabaja ana shabo wakidak da jadel ana biyaru adshi ana ma biyaru PSPLA fi haja bagulu executive body huwa malana majer kan masiku o Molana Joshua Odu na kan medita shupron gubal kede they are kan body kan massive political wing but had been dissolved long ago so aja ana shaif el fi na basma ona fi juzu min dictatoria this is what I desire fi na lakin it was useful ma harmful jubda I don't think I didn't witness just that now لما نجي في leadership بتاع جون جرام في قاعدة دو كان شكر في SPLA في يوم مشير ده كان زول جون جرام كان شكر شديد في نهاية الإدارة أساكر بشرف نفوذه في different unit or different zone وقت في zone ده was very successful some of the demonstration and operation before 1991 ده aja أنا شايف جون جرام كمان كلام بيني إذا لقيت زول زي تعبان نمرين لا تعبان كده SPLA بكون كويس so أنا ما عرفت أي حاجة هناك لأنه he was praising ناس كان بيعمل كويس وكان بقول ويليام يون they are home بتاع SPLA بدون ويليام يون كان SPLA ما بنا نفسه so SPLA was built by ويليام يون شفت so he was giving everybody credit at a division بقول jamu samala da bitao 140 samala da bitao korea mala da bitao mora mara da bitao biamul kula zalzala haja kulu so liwa kan fashal bas fi nada fi operation the liwa gulu division of Gazoo ada yawana now let us come to Red Army Red Army el bitana dago wa tol bini kan nuna machine kuba lakin في 1986 أي زي شهر 4 قبل مشينا في الميدان ببونغو جيش عمل نادى في تارونا الماشين كوبا this is where I got يعني في tribalism هناك شوية بدأ مو شوية وفي لأنه الناس الماشي هناك قاعدة في SPLA ناس كان كبار هناك يوم شهر يالهم هناك إن شاء الله
ليش tribalism هنسيبه ليوم تاني yeah tribalism ده حاجة كمان تاني كبير نسيبه ليوم تاني. انت ظاهر انت كويس، ويعني كان قلبك طيب، انت ما شفت الحاصل. لكن في ناس قالوا يعني من ضمن الفساد اللي برضه كان حاصل، انه لما العساكر يمشوا للصيد، يمشي يصطادوا ويجيبوا اللحم بتاع الصيد اللي هم جابوه، قال الضباط الكبار يا هو طبعا بيخلصوا على اللحمه وهم ما بيلقوا اي حاجه. قام بقوا بعد كده لما يمشوا الصيد بيمشوا يقتلوا الصيد ويطبخوا قبلهم هناك وياكلوا اللحمه. فلحد ما الغادة اكتشفوا يا جماعه في شنو الناس بيمشوا الصيد دي المعلومه ما بيجيبوا لحم. يا هو قالوا ما لما نحن نجيبوه انتوا بتاكلوه ما بتدونا اي حاجه، او يا دوب تدينا قطعتين كده، لكن باقي اللحم كله انتوا يا قاعدين تاكلوه شيء وبتاع وحاجات دي. سو الشخص ده كان داير يقول انه فساد كان موجود جوا الحركه هناك، لكن انت كان على نياتك طبعا يقطعوا لك قطع لحمه بسيط، that is okay with you، تشرب فيه مويه، انت ما دار الشيء الكثير اللي ودوه للضباط هناك. so that is fine. او نفترض انه اللي حصل حسع، يعني في مثل بيقول قال اللي بيجي متاخر في دائره بتاع السكاره، يعني اللي بيجي متاخر بيسكر اكثر من الناس اللي كانوا قاعدين قبل. هل نفترض انه الحركه لما كان هو مقاومه اعتبر نفسه جا متاخر في دائره بتاع السكاره، لانه السكاره دي اللي انا بعتبرهم زي السياسيين اللي كانوا في السودان وكده، زي كانه اكلوا حقهم، يعني قاعدين كده الزول اللي بكب الكاس يديه يعمل السيركل، يدي الزول ده ويدي الزول ده ويدي الزول ده. طبعا انا شفت الحاجه ده، انا ما حصل يوم قعدت في الدائره بتاع السكاره، لكن بشوف انه بكب في واحد بوزع بدي يتم الدائره تاني يبدا من جديد. لكن زي كانه الحكومه الحاليه اعتبر نفسه جا متاخر، فاللي بيوزع في الكاس قام بقى يدبله. يعني مثلا قبل ما يلف الدائره كله يدي واحد هنا يكب تاني كاس يديه للزول المتاخر قبل، تاني يدي زول نمرة 2، تاني يكب كاس يديه للزول قبل. قام طلع الجم متاخر بقى ذاته سكران بسرعه قبل ما الناس اللي كانوا موجودين. هل تفتكر ده هو كان حصل للحركه الشعبيه جو ودارين يعوضوا السنين اللي اكلتها الجراد، وبقوا شنو يختلصوا اموال الدوله، والدوله لحد هسه يعني خلاص دوله تعبان ما قادر ينهض كله. عشان كده الفساد بقى غير عادي جدا. ما ممكن تمشي خطوه خطوتين وما في فساد، سواء كان فساد اداري، فساد اجتماعي، فساد مالي، كل الانواع الفساد الموجوده، رشاوي، حاجات دي كله بقى مشكله في جنوب السودان. طيب يعني كده نديكم كل زول دقيقتين بس، احنا ما حنقدر نخلص الموضوع ده لانه في حاجات تانية دايرين نتكلم عنه في ايامات الجايه، او اشكال او انواع بتاع الفساد الحاصل. يمكن نختار واحد ونتكلم في واحد، لكن بس سؤال لكم كلكم، وكل واحد فيكم يجاوب في خلال دقيقه عشان نقدر ننهي الشو بتاعنا. اوكي ونطلع من هنا. اوكي طيب، ليه جنوب السودان ما اعتمدت للنظام الصرف عن طريق بتاع الشيكات؟ Why people are not getting paid through checks and go cash it from the bank? And we know there is a lot of banks in South Sudan. I would say maybe around at least 10 of them, right? So why people don't get paid by checks, right? Instead of the cashier will be having money And of course, that it's another way of encouraging them so they can steal the money. Otto, in minute or two, so we can end up our show for tonight.
Thank you. النظم طبعا بتاع الصرف كتير، كل دولة بختار اللي بتناسبه. بالنسبة لنا طبعا نظام المالي أو نظام بتاع المعاملات المصرفية ما اتطورت في جنوب السودان. يعني حتى الآن لسه نظام بتاع الأوراق يمضوا ورقة بالأقلام مختلفة، أحمر وأبيض وكل الألوان الأقلام، على أساس الورقة ده يقول ده مستند رسمي وبختمه بختم كمان. المشكلة بتاعنا هو أكبر من اللازم، لكن ناسنا جاء من الناس بيقولوا مثلا قال حرروا جنوب السودان، هم أساسا اختاروا الطريقة اللي بخليهم شنو يدبلوا كاس زي ما أنت قلت كويس. هم دايرين يدبلوا أو يعوضوا الفترة هم كانوا في غابة، لأنه فعلا نانو ناس فعلا أمورهم كان لمن طبعا أنت تكون في الجيش معظم بتاع الأوقات بتاعك أنت بيكون شنو تستعيد للعدو، بالتالي هم ضيعوا من أمورهم فعلا، وده حاجة ندي لهم. ما في أي واحد بنكر اللي هم عملوه يمن كان ماسك سلاح، لأن يمن عملنا الشغل ده عملناه بطرق مختلف. في 3 حاجات اللي خلت جنوب السودان النهارده ينجح: الطريقة الدبلوماسية واللي فيه كل الجنوبين اللي كانوا في الخارج، وطريقة العسكرية وأخواننا الموجودين حاليا في الحكومة هم عملوه، والطريقة السياسية اللي هو جمال القرن كان برسلهم. ده كل الطرق اللي كان شاكلنا وخلانا ننجح في البلد بتاعنا. لكن أخواننا اللي كان في الكاكا هنا لهم فعلا هنا كانوا في أسوأ أوضاع من الباقيين الناس التانيين. يوم جو هم ما قادرين يفهم ليه هو كان ماشي بالجسم بتاعه لفترة بتاع شهور بدون ما يتغير أو الريحة بتاعه بتعفن، بس غير قال لازم الحاجة ده الفان الموجود في الجسم والتعب اللي أنا فيه ده لازم نعوضه بسرعة. عشان كده أنت شايف بس الفساد وعربات أحسن أنواع والعمارات أحسن بنوا بالطريقة بتاع شنو دول الغربية. لكن مشكلتهم هم الناس حاجة اسمه النضال، فعلا كنا دايرين نديهم كريدت بتاع النضال اللي هم عملوا لنا، لكن هم مش شالوا شنو يعني رجعوا حاجات في يدهم عن طريق بتاع فساد، عن طريق بتاع شنو فرض. انا قبل كده يكون تعبان اكتر منك وكده. عشان كده هسه انت لو شايف نحن كان شغالين في نظام السلم الدبلوماسي هم بياخذوه باعتبار انت ناضلت، لكن هم ما يعرفوا اصلا لو كان الناس ما عملوا تابيه يعني زي الوضع بتاعنا لما كنا في مصر. انت عارف كويس المصريين كانوا بيقول يا اخي كيف يخلي الجنوبيين ديل يمارسوا نشاطات على اساس يوصلوا شنو قضيه بتاعت جنوب السودان. ده كان مشاكل الموجود. ففعلا مشكلتنا الاكبر النظام الفساد الموجود ده يا اخواننا فعلا جابوا، بالاضافه على كده كمان هم مش جابوا الناس بتاع الغرب افريقيا اللي عندهم كمان نظام بتاع الفساد الخطر انكلودين نيجيرين، هم دخلهم في السيستم بتاع جنوب السودان. عشان كده هسه تزوير بتاع القروش وحاجات الكثير موجود. طبعا انا شخصيا اختصر الموضوع ده في نقطتين، اللي هو اول قبل الزمن بتاعي ما ينتهي.
المشكله زمنك انتهى.
سوري.
بس خلص الكلمه ده في خشمك خلصه.
اوكي. فالمهم واحد داير يقول شنو النظام الصرف جماعه بتاعنا ما راح يقبلوا في الوقت الحالي، لانه هم اساسا مستفيدين. زي ما انتوا قلتوا قبل في اسماء وهميه، فيها اسر وفيها اقرباء، بدل هو يجي يقعد جنبك هو كده بقى مستغلين. فبالتالي هم بيقبلوا القروش يمشي شنو يودوه بطريقه بتاع الشيكات، لانه يبقى يمشي بالشيك ما في اي كاش بيكون موجود في المكتب، بالتالي ظروفه هيكون اسوء، والبالتالي ما يعني اسره كلهم هيكونوا تعبانين، وده كده النضال بتاعه بيكون ماشي خساره. عشان كده ده تعويض منهم يعني. شكرا.
اوكي شكرا للتعليق. we know when we, like, say, let me give an example, like in Egypt, for example. If you see Egyptian by the end of the month, they will be lining up on the banks, right? So they don't have direct deposit, which is a very good contribution from our brother Abel Kohn here. That is a positive one. That they should have a direct deposit. But I know the system of the network in South Sudan at that time maybe is not good. But it's very simple. They can just, instead of, if they don't have checks, at least people should go cash their money from the bank. Anyone should go and open a bank account, right? And then when the end of the month come, right, all the money, they will tell you, like your ministry will tell you, okay, you guys go to bank, this bank or that bank. That is where the pay sheet is. You're going to represent your ID, your names, and then you will given your money, right? That is what happening also in Egypt. And if you have a account, you just transfer it from the cashier to your account. That's it. The money is there. So, but why we are failing to use any simple? Why we still give money to cashier at the ministry, which has become a way of stealing money? In 2 minutes, Brother Jeremiah.
Constitution في جنوب السودان
Can you start over? You were unmuted. You were muted. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead and start over. Nope. Somebody mute you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. النخبة صرف بتاع مية بتاع قوادة نظامية او كويس وفي ستاندرد لانه حاجه انا جيت شفتها في بيلفام طبعا لما انا كنت قاعد فوق طبعا في بيلفام في بنك في بيلفام تو كي بي سي كينيا كوميرشال بانك في بنك اسمه ايكويتي بنك ديل بتاع كينيا دي ايست افريكان بانك فهم اتفقوا مع جيار العام جيار جيز ولا قادر كان في اول فهم بنك ده بنو from جوا وادي تعليمات للعساكر ما في عسكري بديلو قروش كاش يبقى حاجه في لنا كان في بيلفام now طريقه ده it was okay payment ده كويس in حاجه ده كان ما في civil servant وبعدين كان ما في اي زي other police or other organized forces لكن حاجه ده كان في داخل الجيش so corruption في داخل الجيش الشعبي ولا في داخل الجيش هو كويس يعني is not like the way it is somewhere because group it asagre deep bang ata na ko bang ده حاجه بتاعميه now فازات اني جروج ده جيج بقور 4 شهور ما جاء ولو من جروج يجي مثلا بيجيبوا تاشور اللي قدام وتاشار ده ما دفعوا for example اذا من شهر واحد لار شهر 4 ما بدفعوا بعدين بيجي دفع بتاع شهر 5 او شهر 5 او شهر 6 ويني الفضل وراني ده ما بيجيب لك تاني كلا ده بيجون كيس ده حاجه انا لقيت way corruption ماشي بو في ميلاد ده كان شوفه so في هيت ده I would like to stop here thank you very much
thank you for that good example. يعني كيف يمشي يدوك شهور القدام وشهور الورا ما ادوك له. ده معناه انسى ديلك، فكر في قدام. يعني ما صرفش ده انساك منه، راح عليك. اوكي. Mabur, your 2 minutes please. What do you think? Why the system of paying people through the bank, why not implemented?
Well, why it's not implemented? There's a lot of cases that should be point finger with. It should be done, but when you see Makir Marial Majuk, who are ops and have a name within the list of the military, how do the ops will fit in the front door of the bank? So it will not go there, and nobody can even take that cow into a front door because he will be asked, where are you taking the cow? So can you imagine that? It's around there. It's a logic, and people should know that, you know. And this is the case that corruption is too deep in South Sudan. The only thing that should be done, and I know it should be a solution, is that what they call it a reform in the system, revitalize peace agreement, and do the reform within the military. And payment should be done by the team that is being selected and live in Juba, especially in Bilbao. That's the people that the payment will be in their head. That if there's a payment arrangement that need to be given to the military, or though from Northern Bargadal, there are people who should go, not the people of Northern Bargadal should come and pick up the money to them or delivering the money to them. Should be prohibited. These people, they are the people who should work from there with the chief staff, and then when there is the payment need to be taken to Western Bargadal, there are people who will go there and work with these people and give each another one in the list that they have a salary, including the command. And then from there, if it is been identified exactly for at least 2 years, then they can enroll into a payment there. That's what I see from that, and that's the only issue, and that's what should make should stop the corruption within the military.
Thank you. I know you mentioned the colors of the bulls and the ox, but I just want to tell you also, you know, as the cows cannot fit there, but sometimes we see the weekdays also can fit there, right? Juma, Khamis, Sunday, Sabit, they can fit in there, right? So anyway, I understand your point. You know, the ghost names are there. So if it's done through the banks, those ghost names will not be able to get their money. Sister Juju, I will leave you at the end. Let me come to William. Your 2 minutes, William.
Thank you, Pell. Question is that why people are not being paid by check? Yeah, this one كويس. ولكن انت لو شفت الفساد اننا كلمنا فيه هو it has consequences اللي هو فساد. It destroyed the process of democratization of a country institutions, period. So which means physical infrastructures are not there, institutions are not there. So how can we have a bank? So people can save their money in the bank. So because of the corruption, we don't have that system. And in addition to that, إضافة لذلك الفساد بتمنع، لانه انت لما تاخد قروش بتاعك في الحساب يعني بيكون مسجل بطريقه المسؤوليه، والقروش ده لو دخل في البنك يمكن بدي يمرقوه بالقرارة من مين ومن مين وقاعد يعسل. لكن أحسن شيء إن مثلا القروش ده يكون موجود زي ما إننا شفناه عند الولد بول مالون في شنط، يكون في البيت. أنت لما يكون في واحد داير تدفع له وتدفع قروش موجود في البيت هناك، فده فساد هو تمنع إن الناس ما ياخدوا قروش في البنك. والقروش ده مثلا إذا البترول مثلا صدروا له برا يعني كم براميل، وبيعملوا كالكوليشن حسابات ويقول ان مثلا مين ما لقى القروش ويلقى القروش في الدور الجاي، فالقروش ده بقسموه قبل ما يجي للدولة. حتى القروش بتاع تحصيل كمان قبل ما يجي ان مثلا يجمعوه ويجي يخطوه في البنك بقسموه قبل ما يوصل للناس. فكل شيء بترجع للفساد اللي احنا كلامنا فيه اليوم. فإذا كان في ديمقراطية بيكون فيها أفكار كويسة، وبيكون فيها المؤسسات بتاع حكومة، وبيكون مسؤولية موجودة وهكذا، وفي accountability. بوجود بتاع الفساد بيكون في ديكتاتورية، وديكتاتورية إن هي عسكري زي مباراه هنا سميناه مباراه واحد يعني كان طلعوا القماش بتاعهم وجابوا مويه سخن وخدوها في الجسم بتاعهم. ده واحد طالب في جامعه ده ضابط في الجيش يعمل كده في الجبهه. فاذا واحد بتقتل الانسان ما بالك في القروش. شفت كيف؟ الشيء الثاني انا جرما يتكلم كويس ان ما كان في فساد في الحركه الشعبيه. نعم يمكن الزعيم الرحل الدكتور جون جران كان حكيم، يعني كان عنده رؤيه موجوده كيف ان بكره يصير كيف، ولكن كان في نوعيه بتاع الديكتاتورية موجودة، وفي نوايا كمان بتاع الفساد موجودة. فأنا ما بعرف الزمن بتاعنا ماشي، يمكن كنا ده نظر السؤال للمبور والناس كانوا في الغابة. كان الحاجة بيقولوا لوس بوي ده ليه دايما بيكون من قبيلة واحد؟ لوس بوي موجود في كندا، موجود في أمريكا، موجود في أوروبا، موجود في أي مكان، هم كلهم من قبيلة واحد. ليه؟ هل ده جزء من الفساد كمان ولا شنو؟ والشيء الثاني القاعدة صار في جامعات موجودة في الويسترن وورلد، في كل أي جامعة موجود في أي ولاية whether in Canada or in America or in Europe or in Australia لسه بيستقبل لاجئين من المخيم بتاع اللاجئين، خاصة في المخيم بقولوا اسمه شنو في كينيا، انا نسيت اسم بتاعهم. يعني من ابتدائيه لغايه الثانوي العالي، من الثانوي العالي بيتعاملوا مع جامعه اسمه الوول يونيفرسيتي سيرفيس في كل مكان، بيجيبوا لاجئين وبيجيبوا كمان من قبيله واحد. هل ده بيحاصل لاجئ ممكن ينظم الكلام ده؟ هو موجود في المخيم بتاع اللجوء، ولا بيكون في نظام كان من الزمن بتاع الليبريشن؟ كان في نظام عملوه بطريقه مقننه كده، ان يشيل اولاد التانيين يمشي للجامعه، اولاد التاني يمشي يقاتل وكده. فده شيء لو كان في وقت انا كنا ده نقلب السؤال ده الاخوان كانوا في كلا يجاوبوا الكلام ده. الشيء اللي انا ده نقوله اخر شيء شايف اخونا المحترم الكبير اللي هو ابل كون، who is well engaged out there in sending a lot of uh, writing, so which is good. But I think Abel was one of us last time when we talk about incitement, and we said that we have to denounce it. Now I think his language here is the same thing, incitement. He's calling for الإعادة اللي بيقولوا رمل بالرصاصة، واللي بيقولوا شنو بالعربي أنا ما بعرف، اللي هو فاير سكواد في عشان يجيب استقرار في جنوب السودان. فده تحريض كمان. أنت لما نقول حكومة يقتل اذا واحد بتقتل، انت شفت حكومه بتاع امريكا ولا حكومه بتاعنا الكندا هنا يا عم كون قاعد يقتل جاستن ترودو الموجود في كندا هون. ممكن هنا كمواطنين كنديين نقول ان جاستن ترودو قال يقتل الشعب؟ فكلام ده من قطع يعني بتبين ان في نوايا كده، اما انت ذاته من النون جان موجود معانا في الخط دائما، لانه ببين في الطبيعي بتاع التصرف بتاعك. وشيء اخر انا ده نقوله، if you want to kill people, it's better you wait for Sholton Block, who has been appointed recently by Salva Kiir as the deputy defense ministry. So I think he has been appointed to execute what you are talking here now. So let's wait for him and come and do his job, if this is what you want. Okay, and we know that he's coming for that. So let him come and do his job. Thank you, Payal.
Anyway, you're welcome. Yeah, your question about what you asked earlier, if I can ask only one person to answer that, and it will be just maybe 1 minute. Jeremiah, if you can answer the question from William. I'm sorry, there is somebody try to come in, but because we are almost going to end our show, my apologies. I will get you maybe next time if you come early, so you can join us. But because we are coming to an end, Jeremiah, can you answer that question, please?
Okay.
From William, and then Juju will come and have your 2 minutes.
Okay. Tarik ta Lost Boy indina Lost Boys الكثير فوق طبعا Lost Boys عدد بتاعه more than 3,000 المجي في US. More than 2,000 something من قبيلة دنكا. يعني تقول 1,000 something بكون now the rest of 60 tribes, 63 tribes. لكن 2,000 or almost 3,000 ده من قبيلة دنكا. هما من the whole denka mostly من بور. الحاجة أنا بيعرف في 19 نهاية ناس ماشيين للسنتيزين شهر 12 مشيت في إيتام، كنا ماشيين في فرنسا تانا في سوق ولا فرنسا تانا وشنو كده، لقيت الجيش الأمر في بنيدو. زول كان قاعد الجيش كان قاعد الجيش الأمر في بنيدو، ويا كان قاعد منطقة ده وادي اسمه بيانغ دانغ ميجوك، هو جنرال. يال ديل وكي داك دوانا شوفته تلقاو تاني في أمور 5 سنة، تاني أمور 7، تاني في أمور 8 وكده. يعني ما وصل في الأمور بتاعنا كان دمين ال SPLA في أمور 14 سنة. فوديل كان يال صغار جدا. فحاجة ده كدوم براهم مو قاعد في ميلا ياو قاعد يعلمهم صار ما يسوبيا صار منجيزة جرا في 1991 رالوم من كاكوما من تang no من ديما no من penyuda anu من penyuda le fashala من fashala le kopoida من kopoida mal kan jeshi amera kan fi kan sogar fil dima lomom sawa shal lisubia ana shal Kenya yao masizboka kuma bana umoso le kakuma laji kan fi kan fi penyuda or kan fi dima yao lomom za del jeshi amerdel yao dabu kakuma fil kakuma nak yao samom Lost Boys for kawajat we are taking care ledel. For John Garang was has a philosophy bitaw, and he was encouraging bindel yom musakbal bda Junub Sudan bishakalu ajile jildel. So he was facilitating the Western world or settlement countries to take those boys. So it was an approval bitaw. He approved that. And to me, سبب ناس بور ماشي هناك كتير حاجة أنا شايف طبعا وده كان ما كويس وكده يعني حاجة أنا جيت شوفها حاجة ده بدأ من في ديفيجن يقولوا ديفيجن كوريوم جماعة ديل يوم ده كان بكشو زول يعني لو 4 نفر في البيت بيشيل 3 نفر يفضل نفر so ديل ما جي في سوق كله ما جي في الجيش now جال صغار ديل سان ما جا في ما جي في الثمانينات وكم يعني نسوان ديل ماشي هناك ورا رجاله ما يال صغار ديل so this is how the Red Army came in and لو في حاجة تاني behind it I may not know politically that time but they have حاجة أنا بيعرفها حاجة أنا
Yeah, thank you. It was just a question. Maybe there was some idea running in William's mind, but you answer it. Let me move to because I don't want it to make it like another topic, Mabor. That's why I just want one person to answer it because maybe William doubts it's got answered now. But as my brother Jock was saying, I'm one of the Lost Boys. What is going on now? No, nothing at all with the Lost Boys. So it was just a question from somebody, and it was answered. Thank you, Juju. Our 35%. You need to bring your other sisters so you can complete this. I will give you the last chance to answer why we don't have the checks. And also, can I give you the honor today also to have a final word to close our show?
I'll be honored. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I thought everybody has to bring that 35%. There's a say that everybody has to bring their wife to join. You know, that's how we start. Start with the family first. Yeah. About the paychecks, how people are not being paid in South Sudan with paychecks. I'll say something brief because we are talking about reforms for the government to be changed. We need laws to be put in place. We don't need the president to hire his brother-in-law to be the minister of finance and issue money and corruption, continue with family corruption, you know. So when there's reform, the system will be, the financial system will be in place. There will be reforms in the ministries, like Ministry of Mining, Ministry of Finance, Education, Health, and all that, and so on and so on. So to me, when the Ministry of Finance is being reformed, there's a change in the government. Ministry of Finance being reformed. We will come to that plans because people have strategic plans. Like now, Pearl, you say that people are paying cash. Why not pay checks? Somebody will bring that idea, and it will be put in place for the reforms to happen. I just want to say something too about public services, public servants. I was in Juba a couple of times. I get to know that all the contracts that the salaries or all the government contracts are done through Kenyan Commercial Bank. If they make, this is my personal opinion, if they make a system like here, like for us in Canada here, people get paid every 2 weeks. Some people get paid weekly. Some people get paid monthly. If you put the system of paycheck, of payroll in South Sudan, and then there's arrears, people don't get paid for 7 to 8 months. So it means that the system will be kicking there's no money coming in, So unless people will be paid with money that are not there from the bank. But because all our contracts are done through Kenyan Commercial Bank, and Kenyan Commercial Bank is one of the most profitable bank in East Africa, and it's known for all the behavior of corrupt, because they sign contracts with corrupt government officials, because that's how they launder the money. That's how the elites in South Sudan or in Africa in general, they use the system of cash. Because if cash is being transferred to, say, billions of dollars being transferred to Kenyan Commercial Bank, or from the Central Bank of South Sudan to Kenyan Commercial Bank, you can receive it in cash in Kenya. They can transfer to an account in any East African country, in Uganda. Those, I think, they're involved with the corruption system in South Sudan. So the government officials in South Sudan, they know that the Kenyan Commercial Bank is corrupt. That's why they're using that system. They know that they can get cash, and we know in Sudan people carry lots of cash, thousands of dollars, and mostly it's through Kenyan Commercial Bank. So I just wanted to say that most of the military leaders, most of the corrupt government officials, they have accounts in Kenyan Commercial Bank, and that's why America, the U.S. won the president of Kenya before, because all the money laundering is done through Kenya in South Sudan. So now, if you see the president before the peace process, the Kenyan president pulled himself away. It's only Museveni that's involved in our issues now, because they have been warned. America has warned Kenyan for getting involved in all the money laundering and money embezzlement in our country. So to stress on that, we know that when our uncles come from the bush, they cannot use checks, because the checks will be fraud. It will be bouncing, So they want to see the cash, billions, millions of cashes they carried. We hear stories in Juba that in Central Bank, the president will ask for money to be printed. So they divide. They said, this is mine. You take this one. And Otho, you take this one. And Jeremiah, you take this one. So they collect the money. They take it somewhere to store in the house. This is what the corrupt people do. They don't believe for their money to be in the bank. They don't trust the banks too. So they rather sleep with their money under the carpet or under the bed. We had stories that some of the corrupt South Sudanese government officials, they went even to dig holes in the cattle areas. So they went and they dug holes, they put money down there. They forgot that the cattle move from place to place. So now they don't even know where they bury the cattle and the money anymore. Which cattle area? In simple Arabic, is like Galu Jama Masha Shalu Dolarat Wadofi Mora. Fi Mora Masha Dafanu Hafaru Dafanu Gurush fi Mora. فالابقار قاموا وزعوا مشوا محل حته ثاني ولما جو فتشوا ما لقوا دولارات خلاص دفنوه وراح. These are the kind of money embezzlement that we are talking about. This is the corruption that we're talking
So
about.
in the future, we should, when there is peace, we should go for treasure hunt.
Yeah, that's what
Maybe you will be lucky to find those money.
Yeah, the local poor person will go one day and start and maybe find it, the lucky person. All in all, I just want to say this: for us to eliminate corruption, because corruption now is like tribalism; it's in our blood. So for us to eliminate corruption, we have to change the government. There has to be reforms in the whole country, reforms in the whole system. We need the parliament has to be formed. We need legislatures to be put in place. We need the judiciary system to be reformed. We need the constitution to be amended. There's so many things that we need to work on for us to eliminate corruption, favoritism, nepotism, tribalism. And it's good that we come out and we talk. It's not like before that there's no technology that people talk. Now we can talk, we can write petitions, we can report this evidence, the sanctuary, the Enough Project, the UN Security Council, this Amnesty for Human Rights. So we can report all those corrupt government officials, and we can see through sanctions that some of the government officials have been sanctioned, their accounts have been frozen, their assets has been frozen, taken. They cannot travel anywhere else out of the country, because if they travel anywhere abroad, they will be caught. So this is good. Let us continue to talk about this. Let us expose them. Even the families that we know that some people are supporting the government, and the government is killing its own people, we can report them. Let us continue to do that. And with that, I just want to say that we have come to the end of our show today. It's a good topic. It's been an honor to have Jeremiah always with us. We are learning things from you and the team of Nile Nation Network, not forgetting our audience. We want to thank you guys. I know corruption is a big topic, and it's a disease. It's a pandemic in South Sudan. So we need to work and eliminate that. With that being said, I want to say thank you. And thank you, Pel, for always hosting. I just want to say good night. Thank you, everybody. We need a song. Huh? It's going to be an honor to have a song. Yeah.
I want to add, Pal, something Juju mentioned. I got the information 2 days ago that there is, without mentioning who are there or which country they are in, that there is 3 people, their asset has been frozen also, and they have housing that has been seized by the government. So it's good that the other Southern Sudanese, they are exposing those bad apples. So yeah. So
Thank you for doing that. And thank you so much, all. I'm just going to share the music and wish you a good night, good evening in Australia, good morning somewhere in Africa. Thank you so much, all. And
don't impose my house, okay?
what is that, my boy?
good night to all of you. Good night.
Chupa kanipele karaha mapizol ki parese ta asa wale kwaf kani mapse ta asa naskan ilumbara le saba naskan bitor bile le saba chupa kan kwes fi samandak ujirmin kan ma fi samandak lakin asa de muskila Bilal can charge a muscular. Kalam de be wege fite. Junubi abi katul badule. Oh, chupa biga karabu. Jirbin malian magi kafurabuna. Itabas magale katuluzo. Itabas magale nyakamuzo. Okasapa gali serebuzo. Alela kamasi lo modardazo. Oh Lord. Matata tojela wesa ni cruise. Matati muhaya sola sadi motor. Itamaro kanoni koke. Itamaro kanosta kalke. Laki mujirmin dele katulu. Itama bilen ile katulu. Inside sunu kata katulu. Oh my Lord, you are meant to be judged. Salata katulu, you are meant to be judged. Salata tere, you are meant to be judged. Rapna kai, you are meant to be judged. You pita. Chupa biga karabu. Mujirmin malian magi kafurabuna. Itabas magale katuluzo. Itabas magale nyakamuzo. Okasapa gali serebuzo. Alela kamasi lo modardazo. Oh Lord. Say Rabunafi. Look at Rabunafi. Maloma jizakirta. Rajul Sudan. Domi kumbu daima. Rajul Sudan. Sulubatan bina amulu. Rajul Sudan. Tamtalina magi karasu. Rajul Sudan. Rabuna sulubatan. Rajul Sudan. Oh Lord. Anagi figri kalam de makore. Yali kadi raba mikose na sore. Faida sunu afele susore. Kani biga sede juba zilore. Chris Meka. Juba biga karabu. Jirbin malian magi kafurabuna. Itabas magale katuluzo. Itabas magale nyakamuzo. Okasapa gali serebuzo. Alela kamasi lo modardazo. Juba biga karabu. Jirbin malian magi kafurabuna. Itabas magale katuluzo. Itabas magale nyakamuzo. Okasapa gali serebuzo. Alela kamasi lo modardazo. Oh Lord. You are meant to be done. You cannot be done. You are meant to be done. You cannot be done. Kede lafuna ilaj, afu seswa, durube silat, ma mujrimin, kala wontar, uguruj, haram alek,